Check 1, 1, 2. Check, check, check. I want to start it off reading this article. This is an interesting article right here. A transgender identifying male was discovered having sex with a female inmate at a Washington State women's prison earlier this month. According to an incident report of the event, a correction officer at Washington Correction Center for Women discovered 35-year-old Brian Kim, who murdered his parents and now goes by Amber Faye Fox Kim. Wow. Sexy. Was having sex with a 25-year-old Censor A. Marie Nerton, that's an interesting name, on March 14th during a routine check at the medium security unit MSU. The incident resulted in an infraction, but a hearing is expected to follow. According to the report, this is against MSU rules and policy, okay? Engaging 504, WAC 504, engaging in a sex act with another person within the facility that is not otherwise included in these rules, except in an approved extended family visit, right? Family visit, right? We know that. Before Kim was transferred to the women's prison in February 2021 under the State Department of Corrections, DOC gender inclusion policy. Okay, Kim was incarcerated at a men's facility in the state before being transferred over to the women's facility. Anonymous Washington DOC employee told National Review that there is technically no consensual sex among incarcerated individuals, but that Washington has been mitigating the sanctions on offenders involved if both parties claim the intercourse is consensual, resulting in less trouble for the offenders. I mean, that's kind of like interesting nowadays that a man can identify as a woman and make his way to a woman's prison. I mean,
that's crazy.
How many dudes are going to be trying to do that nowadays?
Well, I don't know. The world is different, like for real, but that's crazy. So incarcerated as a man first, and then later as a woman.
Well, incarcerated as a man, and then I guess they passed some weird law. Obviously, Shim was fighting for it, and so they said, "All right, bro, you're identifying as a woman, you transgender, blah blah blah. We're gonna send you to the women's facility," but the dude still had his shit intact.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, what would you do if you're sitting in a prison cell and a female that resembled a man walked into your cell? I mean, is that a benefit for a woman, or is that an uncomfortable situation?
That would be uncomfortable. Yeah, that would be strange.
That'd be strange, huh?
Yeah, yes.
Because you've done prison time yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there is a lot of women in prison that look like dudes. I mean, yeah.
But they don't have a ding-a-ling.
No, they don't have that. Not that I know of.
They're making things that they're making things out of things to have a ding-a-ling, but to have the real ding-a-ling inside a women's facility.
That's crazy. That seems inappropriate. I don't think that's right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, now as a grown woman that's leaps and bounds away from that time in your life.
Yes.
But, I mean, would some women be like, hell yeah, I won't sell up with that motherfucker?
I know there's some strange things that go on in women's prison, so probably, I'm pretty sure. Yes.
So he left a men's facility. In the men's facility, he was getting, they're playing pin the tail on the donkey with that dude there. Maybe, who knows? You know what I mean? And now he worked his way to a women's facility, and now he's pinning the tail on the donkey.
Yeah, that's crazy. Huh. With a correctional officer.
No. The correctional officer was probably like doing count or something.
Oh, and caught them.
Walked by, and that motherfucker had his hands on his head like this and was doing the cha-cha.
That's crazy. And Washington State, right?
Yeah. What kind of state is Washington State? Is that a Democratic state? What's up, baby boy?
What up?
I don't even know. No, actually, I think it's a Republican state. Don't quote me on that. I'm not really into politics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that, OG?
It's blue.
It's blue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a different state. It's very nature, like a lot of hippies, but who knows? I haven't lived there in years, but when I go back, it's.
So you are originally from Washington. Is that where you did your time at?
Yes. That's crazy. That's why I was like, did you do a background check on me?
Well, what's funny is that now that I remember when we talked on the phone, you did tell me that. Yeah. And I didn't put two and two together until right now.
Yes, that's where I did my time.
You did your time in Washington.
Yes.
Hey, first, I want everybody to give a warm welcome to SARI LOPEZ for coming through to Hoodstocks today and tapping in with us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
And we're starting
excited to be here.
Yes, and I'm excited that you're here because we don't have a lot of women that come here.
I noticed that.
Well, we used to have this dude Casey right here, and he's got a bad rap as being a pervert, and so just like ever since. That got out, and the ladies ain't been trying to come through here. They're just like, nah, that little dude with the hat, that dude's a pervert. Be grabbing titties and shit like that. He's not here no more. I'm just fucking around. That's not the. He does not. He was a gentleman. We don't have a lot of women here, so I appreciate you coming through and to share your story.
Why don't you have a lot of women? Is there a reason, or?
Well, this is what it is. When I do have women on here. The retention span. So 90% of this audience right here, 97% of my audience, our audience, Hoodstock's audience, are male.
Okay.
And then the few percent that's left from that is female.
Okay.
So for some reason, dudes, the Hoodstocks, they want to hear the fellas share their stories.
Right.
And then when we have females here, I don't know, they check out for some reason.
That's too bad. That's too bad. I feel like there's a lot of strong women who have a lot of things to share and teach a lot of women and men,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, a little closer.
Good.
Yes,
Okay.
you can hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Talk right in that part.
Okay.
There you go.
Yes.
You got a nice voice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's like when I'm talking normal, not when I'm yelling.
When you're yelling?
Yeah, I try not to do that too much.
Yeah, I yell a lot.
Yeah.
Or sometimes when I'm talking normal, it sounds like I'm yelling.
What do you yell about?
It's not really yelling. It's just,
You talk shit.
You know what? I just got a loud voice, maybe. You know? And
me too. I do too. I do. Actually, I do. I have a very, strong, unique voice, I feel like.
Well, your man's sitting right there on the sofa with a black eye, so you also got a heavy hand as well.
Don't play. I have to put her back. That's the old her. We gotta put her away.
And we have the new you. You're a CEO of $1 million company. That's amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's amazing. Yeah, we got a shit.
Thank you.
Sitting in a prison cell to a CEO of $1 million company. That's hands, big ups to you on that.
It's crazy, very surreal. It's very crazy. I never thought that I would be. If you would have told me this, 5-6 years ago, I would have laughed. There's no way. So it's kind of crazy. It's very surreal.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on that.
You.
And right here at Hoodstocks, we like to share people's journeys, and today we have SARI LOPEZ, and SARI LOPEZ is going to share her journey from being in the juvenile system to now CEO of $1 million company. And so are you originally from Washington?
Yes. So I was born in Portland, Oregon.
Wow. Okay.
And I was adopted when I was a baby. So I was adopted by actually a Caucasian family.
Okay.
So I was raised in a very normal family, but I was never really normal. I was always really wild. Still am. Still different. Never really fit in with. I was always different. Just that's a good way of explaining. Always felt different. Never felt like I fit in.
I've always felt like that too.
Yeah, you're in a room full of people and you just feel like you're kind of alone. You're just in your own world. That's,
Awkwardness.
Yeah, a little bit. So then you try to find people that you fit in with, especially when you're growing up. I feel like you're trying to, find your identity. That's very normal with, when you're a kid or when you're a teenager, for sure.
Yeah.
And so.
Did it have a lot to do with just you knowing that you were adopted? I mean, how old were you when you were adopted?
I was a baby. I was 3 days old.
When did they tell you that you were adopted?
I remember being told my entire life.
Wow.
So I knew, and it didn't really bother me, but I obviously I looked different than my family. I didn't really look like my mom. I don't look like my mom and dad. They're very different than me, so I felt just different, I never really knew. I actually didn't even know what I didn't even know I was Mexicana for like maybe until like 5 years ago. I did like a DNA test. I had no clue.
You had no clue?
No.
No?
I had no clue. People would guess. They'd be like, are you like, they thought I was like Armenian, like Filipina. Like they're like, yeah. So I didn't know until like I did a DNA test.
Did any of your past relationships sitting there with a black guy tell you that, hey, you're probably Latina?
Yeah, I could be crazy. Yeah. When I was married to Hispanic,
Are Latinas known for just like
being crazy?
Being crazy.
I've always been crazy. So I fit in with that pretty good, you know?
But that's interesting, though, that your adopted parents told you since the very beginning that you were adopted. I mean, was that told to you in a negative way, or was it just them being real with you?
Being real with me. It was not in a negative way, but it was pretty obvious. Like I looked nothing like them.
Okay.
People always ask me, they're like, what does your dad look like? Because my mom's like, well, now my mom's 81, 82. My dad's 88. So they have like blue eyes, like my dad's Norwegian. My adopted dad's full-blooded Norwegian.
Yeah.
It's like the Viking, like the big.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, the Vikings, yeah.
So then my mom is, she's from Newfoundland. So she's like very, very fair skin, blue eyes. She had blonde hair. So like, it's obvious that I look way different, right? So, but you kind of go through like identity issues, especially if you don't have you don't have any culture. It's different. So I feel like that was part of it too.
Why did they? Well, shout out to them for adopting you.
Yes,
right?
they raised me like I'm happy. Like I finally found like my real mom. She was really young when she had me. She was like 13.
Wow.
Like once I have a kid when they're 13.
Yeah.
I can imagine. And so like and I was very grateful at that moment that I was adopted. That my parents adopted me. It was very. You look back and you like wonder like how things play out in life, and then it's crazy how they always seem to work out the way they're supposed to.
And why were you? Is that something that your adopted parents did? Is they adopted kids, or were you the only child they adopted? Did you have siblings that there were?
I have a brother who's also adopted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So were they not able to have kids?
No, they weren't able to have kids.
Okay, that makes sense.
And back then it was like closed adoption, so like you don't really know anything. They give you like a little index card with your information on it. And it's really no information, and that's all they give you. Nowadays it's like open. You can, you have information. You can contact your parents, or there's like way more. It's a different process. So,
shout out to that new process, right? Because you should you should have access to the truth of your being, right, or the way you really came into this world.
Absolutely, yeah. I feel like that's. I mean, in some ways, I think sometimes it could be unhealthy, right? Like
it could be, yeah.
Depending on the situation, I feel like.
It could really, I can imagine that it could really damage a young kid's spirit, as a human being of like, fuck, these aren't my real parents. Where are my real parents at? Like, why was I adopted? Did they not want me? Am I trash? There can be a lot of thoughts going through someone's head.
Yeah, I feel like that led to a lot of my behavioral issues, I guess you'd call them, my rebellious like ways. I feel like that's a lot of probably, most likely that was it. But I look at my real mom, I don't think she's really wild either. So I'm not really sure where it came from, why I've always been wild.
Genetically, we carry what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that.
There was, and I said something on the last podcast in regards to temperament. Like, I was speaking on myself, on my temperament, which can be, not very good at times, right? And they said that a temperament is basically genetics, because they said there was two identical twins. They were separated, raised differently, and they had the same fucking temperament.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so the genes...
But it's true, though, yeah. There's so much in our DNA that defines who we are as people, like that we don't even know about, right? So much that when you're like in the womb too, that's developing, the way that your mom carried you, the way that she handled the pregnancy, all of those things are factors in later, they show later on with children or young adults, So I feel like who knows, I've just always been crazy. I've always been really, really wild, crazy, different, for sure. Unique. Now I embrace it because I'm like, I don't care. Once I turned 40, I was like, fuck it, I'm going to be me. And if nobody likes it, that's okay because I like me.
Yeah.
And so you learn to you have to learn to embrace your uniqueness in life.
Absolutely. So I was a Jew raised with, around a lot of Mexicans, and, I got a lot of heat for being, half Jew, half Mexican. And so I was always ashamed of it, you know, in my adolescence, you know, but as I grew into like my mid 30s is when I really started embracing and say, nah, dog, this is a part of my power. This is a part of who I am.
Yes.
And you know what I mean? I need to embrace it. And hey, this is what it is, you know, and now I do, you know, but in the beginning I was super like ashamed of being like half Jew, you know what I mean?
Right.
But you know, there's a point in all of our times where we grow the fuck up.
Absolutely.
And we embrace who the fuck we are.
So not everybody, but we should.
Yeah.
know, right?
No, absolutely.
Like
yeah.
you start to have like reality checks, like what really matters in life and what doesn't, you know? And those are things like you look back at I look back at things that I did or the way you could see like why. Like I could see like now there's reasons, but then you have to love yourself. So I feel like you just like you have to accept who you are. And that kind of hit when I turned 40. Now I'm 49. So I'm like,
well, shit, we're almost the same age. I'm 47.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good age.
There's certain dudes that were raised and they always had a little peepee. You know what I mean? And they were so ashamed. They were so ashamed of their little peepee. You know what I mean? Because everybody was talking about how big their shit was, and you know they try to play it off like you know this and that. But there came a point in time in their lives where they said, you know what? This little motherfucker's a bad motherfucker. He will tear your little. He will tear your ass up.
Self-affirmation in the mirror or what?
Well, I'm just you know it's probably a weird way of looking at it, but I'm just saying there's a point in time if you have a big nose, if you this, that, or the other, that where you just like you know what. You fucking embrace it.
Yeah.
You
or
know?
you get it fixed.
Or you get it fixed. That too. Yeah, that too.
You get it fixed.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah,
especially for women, because you know women have a lot of options these days.
Absolutely. There's some miracles that are made out of these surgeons these days. Like for real, it's crazy what they can do. And amazing.
And I love it too.
Yeah,
I love it.
Why not? Well, you know what the thing is if you're not happy with you, then go change it, fix it. You know, so I'm not mad at people if you want to, you know, do your thing. If you're something like you said, your nose, whatever it may be. Like, and as a woman, like if you have children, your body changes. People can't hate on that shit. Like you have kids. I have 4 kids. Yeah. Everything changes. You know. So like as a woman, like you got to get everything put back in place.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. And shout out to all the ladies that have done that.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Because, you know, it's a whole lot easier going to the gym nowadays. Yeah. You know, because you got all these ladies that, you know, got that right, you know?
Yes.
And it makes the gym experience a whole lot better.
Yeah. Yes.
You know?
Well, it's nothing more empowering than feeling good about yourself and loving who you are. And when you look in the mirror, you're like, okay, I'm happy with me, you know? You know, I teach my daughters that all the time. I have 3 daughters. You know, it's important that we as women love ourselves and that we are proud of who we are. You know, and that's not just from the outside. You know, obviously that comes from inside too. But, you know, like I'm raising strong, powerful young women, you know. So that's super important to me.
Well, there's been, and I hate to go back on this, and I'm not trying to sound like a fucking weirdo, even though I am a little bit of a weirdo. But so women can get breast implants. They can get the booties flat. Don't worry about that. We got you. You know what I mean? We're going to pop that bad boy out where it's going to be a small dinner table. You know what I mean? You can put stuff on top of it. But like with guys, back to what I was talking about earlier, I don't think there is a surgery yet where guys can make themselves turn the little man into Godzilla.
I don't know about that, but I see guys get BBLs and like
BBLs. Yes. Is that right? That's crazy.
Yes.
I think Rick Ross is saying that Drake got a BBL.
I swear they do. That's crazy. The men get these like pectoral implants or like muscles. You don't have to, like you said, you don't have to work out. Yeah. You can get like the calf implants. You can get you just get muscle implants.
But it doesn't matter how many muscles you get if you're fucking small in the department right there. You know what I mean? It just don't look right. You know what I mean? Especially when you butt naked.
Yeah.
You know, you got the fucking calf implants, you got the pectoral implants, you got the fucking built-in fucking six-pack.
They probably can do that. Who knows? They can do so many things. They break women's ribs. Like they do the rib thing where they're just like so like your waist is like this big.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I've looked into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, of the enlargement, of the penis enlargement.
I was saying with the ribs.
No, because I'm saying you said they probably can, but I've looked into it.
Oh, and they can't?
And well, there's podcasts like Joe Rogan has spoke on it. A lot of podcasts have spoke on it. There has been doctors in other countries that have tried to inject like fat into the thing, and it just turns them in like the little thing ends up into like a can of tuna. They got a can of tuna dick, you know?
Oh.
You know, and female like don't want a can of tuna.
No.
Like you go to Subway for that shit, right?
Yeah. I don't know about that. It seems iffy or risky.
No, it is risky
Yeah.
too. 100%. It is risky, you know. But enough of all that crazy stuff. Let's get. This is Hood Stocks right here. We get a little wild and talk crazy stuff.
You're
but
good. You're good.
I love the open dialogue, and I appreciate you just running with it on this. So, an adopted child. You're in Washington. You never felt like you belonged. You know,
Correct.
and how was it in your adolescence growing up there? I mean, were you graduating high school, middle school,
no.
elementary? What are we doing?
I was in school, kind of, when I showed up, but I was always like really wild from the time I turned probably like 13, 14. Just started like hanging out with people that I probably shouldn't have been hanging out with, but that was me. Those are my people, though. Those are who, well, not anymore, really. But
how is it in Washington? What are the elements that we have? Is it a gang culture out there?
I mean, back then, yeah, because we're talking 1990s. So yes,
Yeah.
So
So
you have
this shit was popping then, huh?
You have Seattle, you have Tacoma. There's there's gangs everywhere, right? So
Yeah.
that was like, I feel like more gangs then than I don't know about now. I don't really, that's not my thing anymore.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? But I feel like that back then, that's when the original, like everybody was in gangs and Bloods and Crips, But up there's not as many Hispanics though. So it's different. It's more blacks and there's Asian gangs, Samoan gangs. There's not so many Hispanics.
Let me fix this real quick. I'm sorry about that. There we go. Right there.
I look in the camera.
Oh shoot, sorry. Let me fix this for you real quick. Sorry, guys. I actually changed this out right before, and I apologize. I should have fixed this before we got one live, but it's all good. We're good. Okay. Thank you, Nick. So then the Washington streets had all the elements that can get yourself in trouble, right? I'm sure everywhere does, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, what did you? I mean, talk to us. Share us your journey.
Well, I mean, I was as a teenager. I like to get in trouble. Like I said, I was always in trouble. So I ran with people who were, in and out of juvenile. So that's where I ended up. So I ended up in juvenile several times for like gun theft. I always like to steal cars, eluding the police. That was always my number one thing is stealing cars for some reason. I don't know why, but like doing stupid shit, So like I did time in Seattle. Like was like a juvenile prison. I was there twice through and then I was released on my 18th birthday. So like I would just do crazy stupid shit. Like I would run away, steal a car. I'd go to Oakland. Like I never ran away like somewhere like close. People are stupid. They run away and they're like right there like in the same neighborhood, right?
Yeah, they go to the homie's house.
No. I was in Dallas, Texas. I was in Oakland. I was in San Diego. I really ran away.
Wow.
So I would be doing stupid shit. Like I'd get arrested. I got arrested. What is it? It's in Monterey. There's like a fort. I think it's Fort something. There's a military base there, so I got arrested on the military base just for trespassing. So then my parole officer would come and get me, put me in shackles, fly me home. Like I just did stupid shit. I never, my parents are like, my parents weren't like that. So I feel like it had a lot to do with my identity, issue with being adopted, because there's really no other reason for me to act like that. I wasn't raised like that.
Yeah, you weren't raised like that. I mean, what are some of the life lessons are what your adopted parents put forth to you in regards to just the way you live life. Well,
I mean, my parents were like, we would always go to church. Like they're very like Christian, into they live like my parents are pretty average people, they go to church, they're not in trouble, they never been in jail, they have degrees, they went to college. Well, my mom.
What kind of professions did they have?
My mom worked at the hospital. She was into like specialty, like in like nursing. So like she did like MRIs and things like that, X-ray things in the hospital for years. But then my dad worked like at a mill, so they were very average middle class family. So I was raised in a good home. I just didn't like to listen. So I just kind of went my own way, and and I was just did what I wanted. So they didn't. I mean, they couldn't make me listen. That's the whole problem, you know.
Yeah.
So that's where I had issues with. Now I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry for my parents. They're still here. They help me out a lot still.
Yeah.
But you know, so now I feel like I get to make up for a lot of that. But yeah, I just was in and out of jail all the time. Like
how was it? Yeah, how was it as a juvenile in Washington State, the juvenile system? Can you share any stories with us while you're doing time as a juvenile in Washington State?
Before I had kids, it was a good time. Like I had a good time in juvenile. Like, you know, like there was co-ed, so it was up north of Seattle.
Oh, it was co-ed?
Yeah, it's co-ed.
Wow.
So you have like different like pods, and it's like outside, so like different pods, and then the central, like where the hole is, or like medical or whatever is in the middle. So like you have, but there's some housing units like for even like treatment they'll put you through that are actually co-ed, but most of them are like girls in one, boys in another, you know?
Okay.
So, but like my parents would come see me, like I didn't feel like, you know, I was suffering because you meet your friends, you see your, you know, you have your homies in there, like you meet more people like to get in trouble with, people who, you know, like, and then I'd get out and I would, you know, get in trouble with the people that I met there. So I was constantly in the system for my entire, like from the time I was 14 until I was 18.
And that subject right there is an interesting subject in regards to, okay, you're a juvenile, you committed a crime, we're going to put you in the system to teach you a lesson because you got to pay your debt to society for breaking the law. And so they put kids, young kids that are criminals with young kids that are criminals.
Yes.
And what do? They collaborate, and then they end up hooking up afterwards.
Absolutely.
And they're off to. I mean, if you had a hand in the system, the juvenile system, I mean, would you make any changes in regards to like how kids are reprimanded for breaking the law?
Well, I feel like there should be a lot more rehabilitation, right? Like, so I feel like even with prison, people should, you know, there should be more options. Like the state takes all this money, or the you know, the government, and are they really using it for the inmates? I don't think so. No. It's highly doubtful.
I mean, it's just like the homeless crisis out here. All the money.
Well, they don't give a fuck. Like the homeless thing, that is probably like I was just in New York. New York is clean compared to LA now. It's crazy. So kind of New York got it together, I feel like, after the pandemic, and like it makes LA look like a joke. Yeah. Like it's like, yeah, there's people, they're on drugs in the streets, but not like these zombies out here. It's crazy. Yeah. I go to Skid Row a lot. Actually, we go to Skid Row a lot. Matter of fact, me and my boy Droops, put the camera on Droops, yeah? There we go, baby.
What up?
Can you put your chair up, Rick, please? Yeah. Rick got it a little late.
Man. I had a real hard time in the front.
You had a hard time in the front?
Yeah. Well, not from here, but, you know, on the way over, you know.
Could you pull that mic up on you, Doc?
Yeah, they just, you know, see me riding clean and shit, had to make sure I was riding smooth, you know.
Oh, you got pulled over, Doc?
Yeah, they pulled me over on the way over.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Everything
cool,
good?
Though. Yeah, they showed love.
They show love?
Yeah, it was quick.
Were you like, hey, I'm about to go on hood stocks right now?
Nah, I was like, man, I'm going down the street. Yeah, nah, with none of that. I was like, hey, I'm going down the street real quick, you know? But yeah, they were cool. They showed love. They were just making sure I was straight, you know what I mean?
Hey, Rick, one time when we had Frankie right here, Frankie busts a U-turn in front of the studio. Yeah. Sheriffs jump on him, Rick. And when he gets pulled over, they're like, hey, bro, where you coming from, man? How you driving this car? You know what I mean? This car's way too expensive. You know what I mean? What do you do for a living? Blah, blah, blah. They're pressing him like he a dope dealer, right? Yeah. And they're saying, hey, nothing but dope dealers come out of that building right there. And he's like, what are you talking about, man? He goes, I'm an engineer. I'm a producer for Hood Stocks. And then the Huda goes, what? Hood Stocks is right there? Yeah. You know what I mean? And so then it changed the energy. And so not only did he burn the spot right here with the Hudas and Hood Stocks, it's all good. We ain't got nothing to hide. It's all good.
Yeah,
so,
we're chilling.
Yeah, but so the dude gives him his card and says, how come tell Lucky to have a sheriff on? You know what I mean? And he goes, all right, get out of here. But he was all like, you know, respect to the sheriff, bro. But
I'll say the sheriffs for real. It was the sheriffs right now in the corner, but they were cool. Yeah. They were just like, hey, bro, is it cool if we just check you out, make sure you're straight real quick? I'm like, man, go ahead, handle your business, bro. You know? So they in and out, dog. Like maybe 3 minutes, you know.
Well, good shit for
Yeah.
Rick, man.
You already
We
know.
need Rick right here, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, whoa. We need the boy Rick right here.
Yeah.
This is Rick. You didn't get to. This is SARI, my boy.
Hey,
Nice
what's
to meet
up?
you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
As
Yeah.
you hear, he got pulled over.
I know
you
that we got pulled over last night too.
Did you? What happened?
Got a ticket, but it still makes me
Yeah.
makes me
Ticket
nervous.
on,
Makes you a little nervous.
Yeah, it does. It does because you don't know there's good cops and there's bad cops.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just what it is. Just like with gang members, there's good gang members and there's bad gang members. It's just
Yes.
it is what it is in all faculties.
You ever
right?
go to Mexico?
You know what? Yeah, I have, but
You get nervous when you ever been pulled over in Mexico?
well, I went there. I
Shit
went.
makes me nervous.
I went there on a cruise recently, but I was living there as my pops kidnapped me when I was a baby and took me out there, and so that's another story. But I'm very like, how do you say it? Like, not scared, but I'm cautious, like of going out there because I hear like crazy
Oh,
stories.
yeah, it's crazy. I
Yeah.
lived there for like 8 years.
You lived there 8
Yeah,
years?
yeah. So that's where I run part of my company over there.
Okay.
But when they pull you over, they have those big machine guns and shit, like the military. Like
Yeah.
you just get nervous. What happens if they just slip? Like, oops.
Yeah.
No, and they're like a lot of times they have their hands on the trigger. They're like
Yeah.
full guns. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, and you know why, right?
I don't know why, but they're all crooked. That's
they all
why.
got tuna can dicks.
That's possibly it, for real. Because I don't know, it makes me nervous. Because they like, what happens if they just slip? Like, oops, or they trip or something a little bit. Like, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
You just don't.
No,
like,
it's scary, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
It's scary.
It's different. So,
And
like,
honestly, I stay out the way. I
Yeah.
stay out the way from that.
well, and they fuck with men more. I feel like the men for sure. Like the men, like if you're a woman or if you have your kids, like you want to do anything illegal in Mexico, just have your kids with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
I mean,
like,
if I
I
was-
don't know. I don't do illegal shit in Mexico. There's no way. I don't do illegal shit anymore anyway. but,
I mean,
but in Mexico, like I notice if I have my grandson with me or something, they don't. They're like chill. But like if you're like alone or if you're like men more, they'll just they pull you over. They just tax you. They want to make their money.
Well, you know what? If I was a female, you know, I would utilize the leverage of being a woman because women really rule the world, you know. And so I don't care if I'm in Mexico or if I'm in LA. If I get pulled over and I'm already pulled over, I'm making sure that one titty is hanging out my shirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wish it was as well. Actually, with Mexico, it's easier. You just pay them and you go. Out here, it's like we're gonna write you a ticket, and who knows, you know, like and then you wait for the surprise to get it in the mail. It's like $500. You know what I mean? Like it's like out there, at least you know what you're gonna get. It's gonna be like $100 or like, well, I don't know. Like usually I pay $100 out there.
Who really holds the power? Does men hold the power or do women hold the power?
What here or just in general?
Just in general, life. Who holds? Who really?
Women. Well,
'cause
women.
Women
yes,
do, right?
Yes.
I would say so too.
We created all of hello.
All of y'all. Yes.
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 Yeah. If it wasn't for a woman, you wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't be here either. So,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, I feel like women, like if you see successful men, they're like, they definitely have typically, the majority are going to have a strong woman behind them.
Yeah, like I
telling
do.
them what to do.
Well,
Get up, get it together. I feel like that. No, men need a little bit of direction.
we need foundation.
Yeah, for sure.
And
for sure.
with foundation comes direction.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's a good thing because that's what women are good at. We're good at telling people what to do.
Yeah.
Right? Like, well, I don't know, not all women, but I feel like the majority of women, if all my women out there, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that they're telling their husbands or whoever, like, hey, you need to do this, this, and that, and reminding them many times. But I think it's a good thing. It's balance, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely. I agree with you too. And so back to your story, you talked about doing your time in Washington as a juvenile. You said it was co-ed. That's pretty interesting right there.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, back then I feel like it was easy. I don't think it's like that anymore.
and so how was that co-ed thing? Was there a lot of young girls coming up pregnant because of the co-ed situation?
Oh, yeah, there was girls pregnant for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Because it was, like I said, some of the housing units are actually co-ed. So you're like actually living in a house, even though you get locked in your room, obviously in your cell.
Yeah.
Like yeah, it's like a lot of interaction. And, you know, when there's a will, there's a way, right?
Absolutely.
So that's just anywhere.
Okay.
So, yeah. But it was pretty, I mean, I don't remember it being like, I enjoyed it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
What really started bothering me when I was an adult and I had kids, when you're in jail,
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, it's way different.
Way different.
Way different.
So you said at 18 years old you were let out of, correct me if I'm wrong or if I heard wrong, but 18 years old, now you're being released from the juvenile system. What are we doing from there?
Still doing the same shit. Like I'm still, partying in the streets, like getting in trouble. I actually got pregnant with my first daughter shortly after I got out. So like, maybe it was like 18 and a half, almost 19. So that's when I had my first daughter and I was not ready.
Yeah.
That's why 13.
What kind of dude was he? Like was it a real relationship or was it a wham bam thank you,
No,
ma'am?
I was still living like it was my parents. So they helped me a lot with my daughter, but like I wasn't ready. But my parents would take care of her, and so I could still be in the street.
Shout out to your parents, man.
Yeah,
You
no,
had
they
some
are.
real-
They are actually really. They're good. Yes, thank you, mom and dad.
Yeah, big
for
shout
real.
out to the whole
Yes.
Viking community.
The
you know what I mean?
Viking community. Literally.
And I'm not trying to make a joke out of it. Excuse my horrible
No, you're good.
humor.
You're good.
So you got back out to doing what you're doing. You end up pregnant from a relationship, and your parents, bail you out. They're taking care of you said your daughter at the time?
Yes.
Your daughter at the time. And so you're back running the streets. What are we doing running these streets,
Just being a fool, like acting stupid. Like, I don't know, but I thought it was fun at the time. Like, well, I don't know. I just like to get in trouble. So, like, like when you're like out and you're partying, right? You just find trouble when you're with the wrong people, or trouble finds you.
Did you ever have any? Were drugs ever a part of the equation?
Well, like I had back then, there wasn't like a lot of drugs. There was like cross tops, it was like speed and like weed. Like it wasn't even good weed. So, but that was a little bit later. So. With my daughter's dad, my oldest daughter's dad, that's when I first I experimented with drugs. It wasn't really, I was more of a drinker.
Yeah.
I like to drink.
What'd you like to drink?
Well, vodka.
Yeah?
Yeah. Vodka, tequila.
We got some vodka right here.
Yeah. Maybe in a minute.
Yeah. Absolutely. Feel comfortable though. Feel comfortable. You're here and we're all here with you, you know what I mean? And I just want you to feel comfortable right here at the Hoodstock Casa.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And you got Triple OG with you right here, and you got the hubby right here too. Shout out to both of them. And so where do we go from there?
So I ended up still hanging out with the same people who are like in and out of jail. All my friends at the time, my homies were like, they're no good. That most of them are like not alive anymore, or they're doing a long time in prison. So most of them didn't make it out, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Some, got 30, 40 years. Actually, my homie just got out, but he did like 40 years. He's back on drugs. Yeah, sad.
Sucks,
yeah.
man.
So like that was kind of like the people I ran with, and I chose to always go back to. I'm trying to kind of be a part-time mom, going home. I went home, but I wasn't the best mom, I'm not going to lie. At that time, I wasn't ready to be a mom, and then I had, I went to jail after, for a car theft again. So obviously I'm still doing the same shit. I got in a high-speed chase. That time I wasn't driving. Like I knew that day, there was like the detectives were looking for the car, so I had already known, so I just had an intuition not to drive, but I was in the car, so I ended up going back to jail, and now I'm in jail with my daughter at home. And my mom and dad at that time actually took custody of my daughter, temporary custody.
Wow.
So that was like, yeah. So and then shortly after that I just did jail time, because that was my first time getting in trouble as an adult. So I did, I think, 9 months in county, which is not fun.
That's in Washington State,
yes,
correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I did time in county, and then I ended up meeting. I wasn't with my daughter's dad for long, and I ended up meeting my first husband.
Okay.
And I got pregnant with my son, and my son has medical issues. So he was born with a congenital heart defect. So I started to kind of grow up. After I'm like 22, I'm pregnant. I'm at home, and I find out that my son has a congenital heart defect. So that was my kind of like wake up call to get my shit together. So I was at home more, obviously taking care of myself and going through all these medical appointments and things like that. But like at 2 months, I actually caught like second degree assault charges, which is all bad. Like I ended up getting like jumping this guy with my first husband. So yeah, so that wasn't good. I was like 2 months pregnant. So I actually did house arrest when I was pregnant with my son for a a long period of time. Okay. So I was like on house arrest, but with all the things that my son was going through health-wise, they actually lowered the charges. So I only got like assault, the third degree. So I didn't have to go to prison for that. So I did a lot of time on house arrest, which thank God that was the case. I actually had to grow up and actually take care of my son.
And so when you have a son that has congenital heart failure, is that what you said?
Defect. So it's like no, you're good.
Yeah. Congenital heart defect. I mean, what does that consist of, raising a child with that disease?
Well, I mean, it was tough. It was like one of the worst days of my life for them to tell me that my child was maybe not going to live, like it was during an ultrasound. So they told me that I should have an abortion and I shouldn't keep the child. Wow.
So they were able to catch it since an ultrasound.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Well, now they do like crazy shit. Like they do surgeries by laser in the womb, open heart. Like they can repair certain things. It's crazy what they can do. So this is like 20. My son's 26 now. I know, and like I did an interview before, and somebody said some stupid shit. They said like, "Oh, well, you shouldn't go against doctors' medical advice." Why the fuck would I trust a doctor?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know how many doctors screw up every day? Like doctors are human like you and I. They're not God. So like that's just, I think, ignorant. So I had to put that out there because that shit's kind of, I chose to keep my son because as a mother, as a woman, like you could feel the baby moving. That's a child. Like it wasn't like I was like 2 weeks pregnant or 4 weeks. It was like I was like 4 months. So I chose to err on the side of I was gonna see if it worked. Like here's and who knows? Like obviously my son's still alive. He's 26.
Yeah.
So I ended up so I went through the court proceedings when I was pregnant. So I was going through that shit and then going through all these health issues with my son. My son was born, and then at 3 months exactly, he had open heart surgery. Oh. So that was crazy, like going through that with a child. It was, shout out to moms who are going through being a mom period is a job. It's work, if you do it right. But
it's a real profession.
Yeah, but being a mom to a child with disabilities or with health issues is another factor. It's different.
It's next level.
Yeah.
Consumes your whole lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Whatever you thought you were doing, you ain't doing it no more.
No, not at that point. So but then 6 days after my son had open heart surgery, he went in a cardiac arrest. So he actually died. They were like resuscitating him in front of me. I'm in the room. And it wasn't due to the heart. It was due to like the placement of the ventilator, the breathing tube. So now they were actually going to pronounce him dead. He wasn't supposed to make it. So he's actually a miracle that he's even here.
Wow.
So, but he ended up living. But that was like the fault of the hospital. So I'm going through all these other, in time I went through court proceedings with the hospital because it was malpractice. So.
Did you get money from that?
I didn't, but my son did. Yes. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Good for your
But
son.
it's expensive to raise a child with disabilities like that.
Well, yeah, because you're not able to maintain a regular lifestyle where usually a mom can potentially get a babysitter and go to work.
Oh, yeah, I know, it's different.
If there's a significant other, he's going to pull his weight and, you know what I mean? Like your whole world comes down on you because now you have this huge responsibility.
Yes.
That and then also too, let's think about it like in an aerial view type of thing. Like you've already witnessed malpractice with the doctors, the ones that we were supposed to trust, right? They're supposed to know a lot better than we know.
The ones that told me to give up my son, but they didn't know shit, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So now it's just like you're just really like, I can imagine.
Yeah, so it was like a wake up call, like for me to grow up. I still wasn't I'm still struggling to I really don't I'm still hanging out with the same people, but I am at home. Like I was at home with my son for Like an entire year, I held him I held him in a chair because they told me not to let him cry. So he has these problems. A baby cries? Babies cry, right?
Why would they tell you?
Because it was strenuous on his heart.
And his heart was so fragile.
Yeah. Well, he had 3 open heart surgeries when he was a baby. So he had one at 3 months, and then one at 1 year, and then one at 2 years.
How is it for a parent to have to deal with your seed, your baby, just everything that your world, right?
Hard.
And have to go through that.
Yeah, it's hard.
Your child is getting open heart surgery.
Well, there's like adults that don't even make it through open heart surgery. It's like major. They put you on bypass. They stop your heart. Like it's crazy what they can do. Crazy. There is brilliant doctors. I'm not putting down. There's doctors who've saved my son's life in Mexico too. But it's been tough. It hasn't been easy, but it's made me a very strong person. Very strong person. That's why I don't give up. That's why I believe I've made it to where I have with my company too. I don't give up. So I never gave up on my son. That's why he's still here. Because I feel like if I would just given up on him, he would obviously I'd take care of him or my family as well. But he wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me and my family for sure.
Yeah.
So that was tough. So I went through a lot of it messes you up mentally, PTSD, shit like that. From just watching your child die in front of you, it's not easy. So that I feel like that always really, and it still at times it bothers me, but I feel like now I've worked through it for sure, a lot better than I was 10 years ago. But it hasn't been an easy ride.
I mean, for a parent, we I think as parents we always have scenarios that run through our mind as parents that love something so unconditional, right? And so we can jump in front of a bullet, right? But we can't jump on the operating table and take that fucking open heart surgery.
We would though,
for
right?
Them. We would though.
Absolutely.
We would, but we can't though.
Well, because yeah, exactly. And that's the hardest part, that you are not in control. And so you have to learn how to mentally deal with this shit. You got to keep it together. I had to hold it together. So that was what, I mean, all these times I look back and I'm like, man, I'm a strong person because of what I've been through. But I look at my son, he's stronger. He's still here. He wasn't. So they sent him home from the hospital with me, and they sent me home with hospice because they didn't expect him to live. So a lot of kids who have major brain injuries like that, they don't live, they die.
And so now we're talking about the brain, because when you have a congenital heart defect, it affects the brain. No,
it's because when he died, he went into cardiac arrest when they were resuscitating him after the surgery. His brain was without oxygen for a certain period, for an hour.
Yeah.
So that just causes, it's like if somebody drowns in a pool, like a child or adult, how they get they're like vegetable state, later, their brain shuts down. So depending on the extent of the brain injury is the extent of how affected the person or child is. So us, if we went into cardiac arrest, there's only I think less than 11 minutes, and then they just call you because you'd be brain dead.
Wow.
Or you'd be a vegetable on a life support probably, So, but children have a way of, they're resilient to rewiring their brains.
Yeah.
So actually children, obviously they can, they're still growing and developing. So there's children that can come out of certain situations like that and still live, or live with, other issues, other ailments. So, and my son doesn't walk or talk either. So
at 26 years old, he doesn't walk or talk.
No.
Wow.
No.
And does that have to do with
the brain injury?
The brain injury.
That was the hospital's fault. Yes.
So that's why will he be able to live off that money for the rest of his life?
I don't know. It's expensive. Well, yeah. I mean, he has the way it's set up. Yes, but it's expensive. It's $300,000 or $400,000 a year to take care of a child.
Wow.
Or he's a child to me. He's still small, but he's an adult. But you think of wheelchairs and all the things that a child like that or a person like that needs, it's expensive. A wheelchair is $40 or it's $60,000. It's crazy. And you need a new wheelchair. It's like getting a car. It's literally like getting a car. So, yeah.
Why do they make it so expensive? That's just fucking nuts.
Yeah.
My boy Brown Lucci, he was on here and he suffered a leg injury where his leg, a motorcycle accident where he was at a stoplight. Brown Lucci is the first episode that I've ever had on Hoodstocks.
I'm about to check it out.
And he was at a stoplight on his motorcycle. A car came and just fucking smacked him and severed his leg off. Well, to make a long story short, and the point that I'm trying to make is that to get those fucking prosthetic legs dude, they make it almost impossible for a motherfucker to afford a fucking well-working prosthetic leg. You're like, why do we make that shit so hard? Why are these dudes trying to profit so hard off this shit?
No, it's true. It's true. It's politics, I swear. Like, there's so much wait time too. By the time it's crazy. It's crazy expensive. So yeah, so like I feel bad. Like, there's a lot of moms out there who are raising children, like, because a lot of kids are born with. My son has cerebral palsy from the actual brain injury, but there's a lot of moms that, you know, like, you hear about these moms have these kids, and they're like, when they're in birth, so when they're having when they're in labor, the child suffers a brain injury like that too. But they don't get they don't get any money because it's not really anybody's. If they can't prove it's the doctor's fault or the hospital's fault, then there's a lot of mothers who are raising on state, like on Medi-Cal, raising these, you know, kids like that. So they're not getting any money. So, and I did that for the first 10 years. There was no, like, I waited for the lawsuit to happen. It was like 10 years. It was after I got out of prison and everything. So that's later in my story. But yeah, so it took a long time to actually settle for, with the hospital.
Well, I just want to give you your props and salute you for being a strong woman, a good mother, and taking care of her baby.
Thank you.
You know, real shit right here.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Women empowerment is important right here on Hoodstocks. Even though we talk a lot of shit, but hey, you know, the world wouldn't be what it is today without, you know, these beautiful women, this beautiful woman that's sitting across from me, with all due respect.
Thank you.
And, you know, appreciate you so much. That's amazing, and I'm sure your son does too. So he can't talk, so he can't express. Like, how does he express love for you? Is there something that he does where he's telling you that, hey, mom, I love you?
You could just tell that he's always so happy. That's why I stopped bitching in life, because I'm like, my son is so happy. Like, he can't walk, he can't talk, he never, you know, he can't express anything. He can't even scratch himself. Like, if you know, you got to scratch your head, scratch your arm. Like, he can't do that.
Wow.
He can't do that, but he's always happy. Like, if you see him, like, I'll see, like, he gets sick a lot. So, well, not a lot, but he does get sick. It's natural. Like, these kids get pneumonia easy. Like, if we get a cold, it's like he goes in the hospital, and I'm in the hospital with him for 2 weeks with pneumonia.
How was it during the COVID thing with him?
Oh, I was like, he never got COVID until like way later. But I was freaked out because, you know, they had us all tripping about, like,
me tripping too.
Yeah. No, I was like spraying everything down, and like I was masked up. I was one of those crazy people. But like with my son, like, you know, like that's my son. So I was scared that if he got it, I mean, they were telling us all these young, healthy people were dying from it. So yeah, that shit was scary. You know, so I just, you know, I try to be as cautious as possible, but we also, you know, get sick, unfortunately, you know.
We had during the COVID, I like to speak on this. Go ahead, Nick, hit this main camera right here. During the COVID, there was a homie, they called him, I believe, comedian Cholo Joe. I think that's his name. And excuse me for just forgetting names sometimes, but it was years ago.
No, you're good.
But so he had a lot of medical conditions going on with him. He was an amputee from diabetes, right?
Oh, yeah.
Amputee, he lost one leg, and then he lost one leg, and then he lost both of his legs. But during the COVID time, he was telling me, he was like, hey, look, you know, and like you said, we were all just like, fuck, what's going on here? You know, people buying up the toilet paper, people freaking out and every single level you can think of. Yeah. And so during the COVID time, he was telling me, he was inviting me to things that he was doing, right? He's like, hey, look, we doing this shit over here, come through, you know? And I was like, damn, bro, you ain't worried, because obviously his immune system is compromised.
Right. Absolutely.
His immune system is compromised on just a lot of levels. And I even asked him, I said, bro, like you ain't worried about this shit? And he was like, nah, I'm not, bro. Like, I'm good. You know, I'm taking precautions, this, that, and the other, you know? And it's always important for me to have these conversations with a guest, a past guest, a homie of mine. Let's have this conversation,
right,
because I would always feel bad if I never did have the conversation with them. Yeah. And so anyways, he, long story short, he was in the high desert. He got sick, pneumonia. He was fucking FaceTiming and doing all these videos while he was in there. And he was like, man, look at this shit. This shit's dirty as fuck. They had needles, blood everywhere. And, you know, during the COVID time in the hospital, it was fucking chaos.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It was chaos.
Yeah.
So he was shooting the videos of this, and I'm watching. I'm like, fuck, dog.
And they're still charging you like $30,000 a day.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. And so the point I'm trying to make is he didn't make it out of that hospital.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He passed away. So during that time, a lot of people that had compromised immune systems, they didn't make it out. So I can imagine, as a mother, you know, with a son that has a compromised immune system, and I hope I'm saying this correctly.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know, I would have been like, hell no, bro, we're going to put you in this little bubble right here.
Well, no, I literally did. So I lived in Mexico at the time, and I was running my company just strictly out of Mexico at that time. And I was crazy. I'd have a doctor come, because he does get pneumonia. Like, he'll get bacterial, like, pneumonia from aspirating. So because he doesn't eat by mouth, so he has a feeding tube.
Wow.
But I would have a doctor come to the house, because I was scared to take him to the hospital at that, you know, like, it was crazy. It was crazy. Like, there were certain times, like over Christmas, that, like, I think it was 2020, when people were just like, everything was packed full. Well, I actually did take him to the hospital one time, because he got sick with pneumonia, but he didn't have COVID, and they put me on the COVID floor with him.
Yeah.
You know, and I was freaking out, but I took him out the next day, because he didn't have COVID. But it was crazy how they had the nurses like, you shouldn't be here. Like, they didn't care. I feel like it's just all like, it's all politics. They want money, you know, they want to, and I feel like they didn't always care. Like, even in Mexico, they didn't care. They let people die.
Well, you know, during the COVID thing, there was a lot of, I'll say, woke people, you know. I don't want to put that totally on the woke people, but I'll say there was people that were saying the COVID thing was like a hoax. It was bullshit, this, that, and the other. But then I had contact actual nurses that were working the hospital,
Right.
and they're like, nah, look, this shit is real shit. Motherfuckers are dying from this shit,
Yeah.
bro. Fuck
Yeah.
what all these
Yeah.
what all these other people are trying to say.
Well, I think that they blew it up, but I definitely feel like it was a big deal, though. You know, I think that the news wants to scare us, like, for sure, absolutely. They put fear in your mind, so they outplay things for sure. But I feel like definitely there's people dying. And like, I think at first, like, you didn't really know anybody first off. Like, you're like, oh, my friend's sister died, or, you know what I mean? It was somebody distant. I feel like everybody was like that. But then in time, more and more people were getting sick, and healthy people, like young people, 30 years old, 25, you know, like healthy people who work out, go to the gym, they were passing away. So I just feel like it just depends. Yeah, but it was some real shit for real. I'm glad that shit's over.
I got COVID.
Yeah, did you?
Know? And I you know, I think when I got COVID, my body was like, shit, homie. They were talking to COVID now, right? They're like, hey, dog, this fool been on every drug. Shit,
Nothing can phase you.
You ain't fucking with this dude right here. You know what I mean? Like, this fool is.
You just got a headache or something. Like a hangover.
I want to think what my immune system was telling COVID. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it was on some gangster shit. Like,
Right.
homie, like, dog, this is our house.
But I also feel like it's your mentality too, no? Because
Yeah.
I feel like if you're like, oh, I'm going to get sick and this, that, because I feel like we attract what we are set our minds on, right? Like, if we're like thinking about it all the time. So that's why I need to chill out about my son. So I used to do the same thing, like really worry about shit all the time and be overprotective. He still gets sick. So I've been like more chill about it, even though I'm cautious, you know, but not obsessing over it as much, you know, enjoying that he's living instead of worrying about him dying.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. I feel like we worry about so much shit, like what, 90,
stress
right?
will make you sick.
Hell yeah. Stress, worry, all of that will kill you. So yeah, it's a big deal.
I want to ask Rick. Rick, how was it when you were in the feds on the COVID thing? What was happening right there with the COVID, Rick?
They locked all of it down for real. Like they locked it down, so they had some buildings that were just like if for people that got sick, they will take you over there. So they had everything locked down. They kind of forced everybody to take the vaccine because they were like, hey, if you don't take it, then you're not going to be able to come out with everybody else. So
that's the only thing I didn't like is the forcing vaccines.
Yeah.
But Rick got out from doing 16 years in the feds not too long ago. So it's interesting. Well, it is what it is. I mean, you're under a controlled environment.
I got kind of lucky like when it happened because I was in the SHU. So it was just me and my cellie. So then we started hearing about, hey, there's COVID out there. Everybody got COVID. Like, we didn't know what it was. So we had limited access to, like, everything going on. You know what I mean? So...
It's fucking up the program.
But we were in a controlled environment, though. So it was just me and my cellie.
Yeah.
So they were just like, hey, you guys can't come out nothing no more.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are locked in.
Another excuse to not have people working, right? Or to
No,
keep
for sure.
That's all, yeah.
But, yeah, I had to stay in that jail like an extra year just waiting to get transferred because of the COVID. Like they weren't doing no transfers, like, and then once you did transfer, you had a test before you left, like a month before, and then test again right before you left, and then they'll take you to the next spot, which was a transfer center. Then you get there and you got to do the whole shit over again. So like it was fucked.
I went and got the what do you call it? The shot.
I did too.
Because I'm a part of a union, IBW Local 11, and they actually opened it up on a fucking parking lot floor at the East LA College ELAC, which is right down the street from here. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I watched the news, and the news did what it was supposed to do, right? They're pushing an agenda.
Right,
and
absolutely.
honestly, like, it's above my pay grade. It's above my knowledge of what I know, and I really want to trust that these doctors are...
We're still alive. That's good, right?
Yeah, I mean, I want to trust they're telling us the right shit. So I went, and I got the jab.
I don't trust doctors like that.
Because you have a whole lot better, you have a whole lot more experience than I have. You've
well,
dealt
I pay
with
attention to people, so before I would think, oh yeah, these people are smart, they went to school. Nah, they're human like us, so you get good and bad. So there's people who, yeah, they know what they're talking about. There's other people who know, because I go into the hospital and I tell them what they need to do, and they're the doctors. I'm not a doctor. I didn't even graduate, so I'm not. You know what I mean? I don't have a degree, but I pay attention. So I'm telling the doctors what they need to do with my son. They have a lot of times they have no clue. So there's really intelligent, very smart doctors out there, but there's also some idiotic doctors out there too. So I would be cautious if someone was telling me, that's why I only got the vaccine because of my son.
Yeah.
So I think that if I didn't have my son with that situation, I wouldn't have done it. So my entire family, we got it. And I got like the booster and shit too. I got suckered into that one too. I don't think I would do it again though.
Yeah.
Nah.
I don't think I would do it again either.
Because they say it was like for population control, which I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Literally, the way it was all planned out, I feel like it was. I just had this conversation yesterday with an IV nurse. She was saying that it took out certain races at certain times, like kind of crazy.
It's unfortunate to hear if that's what it is, But as President Trump was saying, the Chinese. The China, I forget how he says it, bro. I'm fucking it up. But anyways, it was most definitely something that's in the history books in regards to that COVID shit, and I'm glad that we've moved forward from it, or we've been distracted from it.
Yes.
Distractions, right? That's what the news does. On to the next, you know what I mean? And now it's no big deal. And so I don't know, you know what I mean? I can't call it. And I don't ever try to be the dude that knows, because I talk to a lot of people, and then if it's politics or if it's COVID or if it's something, these dudes talk like matter of factly. And anybody that talks so matter of factly, if it's not my lawyer taking care of my case, I don't want to hear that shit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
If it's my lawyer on some case, like, talk to me matter of factly of what's going to happen, and I hope you make it happen. But and everything else, you know what I mean? I just think that we really don't know. I don't know. But then again, I'm just another fish in the pond, you know what I mean? And fuck, man, you know, whatever
Well,
you
thank God COVID's over, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So moving forward, and I apologize for
No, you're good. You're good.
We're going different directions and shit.
I feel like this is the calmest podcast you've probably done, right? You want to get crazy?
Why? Do you want to get crazy?
No.
Because I'll get crazy. Everybody wanted us to take our shirts off.
I'm wearing a cat suit or a jumpsuit. I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah. Well, we can figure it out. No, I'm just kidding. All due respect. Your husband's like, what? You just stood up and pumped his chest out. You know what I mean? He was like, fool, I did 50 push-ups today. Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me, Lucky. No, all respect. And that's just them clowning from a previous podcast that we had right here. So
I know. I keep seeing them say to take your shirt off.
Yeah, no, they want that. They want that big time. I don't know if they
and
want
you said
that.
It's mostly men, and they want you to take your shirt off.
Yeah, you know, hey, sometimes you got to take your
Just
shirt
saying.
off. You know what I mean? Sometimes we got to act like it's Mardi Gras right here. You know what I mean? New Orleans, baby. You want some beads, girl?
What was the lady's name what was the person in the article?
Yeah, it was, and they changed their name crazy too. You know what I mean? You know, sometimes I lay in bed at night and I said, you know what? If I wanna one day go women or go female or go shemale or go shim, you know what I mean? What would I change my name to? Lucky, what would you change your name to? And I don't want to. I thought about Star, but you know, everybody, all these broads always want to go by Star. You know what I mean? You know, and so no, I'm just playing. I know.
I was like, I hope you get rid of the facial hair first.
Yeah, right.
You never know. You never know. Like we said, they could do miracles. Like they can make anybody. I mean, have you seen the women who go to TJ to get surgery?
Yeah.
Yeah, they look amazing. Well, some.
They do.
Some.
They
Yeah,
do. But
yeah,
some of
for
them
real.
like overdo it. I mean,
But
what's
it looks
overdoing
crazy.
it?
Some of it's good though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
I
when
don't
you
mind
buy
either.
a car, you want the bells and whistles.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I want the sunroof. You know what I mean? I want everything. And so nowadays with females, like, it's like, bro, I need the bells and whistles. Like, flat ass, homie, this ain't 1976, dog. Because in the 70s and
They didn't
80s.
even have seatbelts.
Flat, yeah. And the flat
didn't have
asses were
seatbelts.
in. But now we want the fucking butt up. I mean,
Well, I don't know. It's supposed to go out. Wasn't it like it was in style and now it's out of style or whatever? Like, right, with the Kardashians, they were getting rid of it. I don't know how you get rid of it.
I just want to know what that ass looks like at 80 years old. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? You gotta
Yeah, you gotta keep it. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, there's reductions though too. As you
Yeah.
get older, you can get a reduction, right?
Well, yeah, that's what like Black China just did, right? She got everything taken out.
Did you get a butt reduction? No, not reduction, but what do you call it?
A BBL.
A BBL. Did you get a BBL?
Yes.
Yeah. Does that shit hurt?
No.
No?
Not when you want it. Like no.
Not when you want it. You
I'm
like,
a
take
woman.
it.
I'm a woman. I have 4 children. No.
Give me the pain.
Yeah.
Give me
Like,
that
I think if
ass.
it's something like that, like if you're going to get some sort of surgery that's not cosmetic, and when it's cosmetic surgery, you already made up your mind you want to do it, right?
Yeah.
So like you just suck it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know you're gonna feel amazing.
Absolutely.
I mean, let's.
Like I said, I had 4 kids, so I've gained weight, lost weight, gained weight. You know, like women, like shout out to women who want to feel good about themselves.
Well, you got absolutely. So you got the booty, you got the breast, you got the whole works, huh?
Yeah, I had to get a tummy tuck and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, what's the difference when you go to the supermarket from then till now?
I don't know. I don't pay attention.
You don't pay attention.
No.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure my kids always say that everybody's staring, so I don't know. It's behind me, so I'm not really looking.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
but I'm always in my own zone. I'm always working on my phone, so it's like whatever.
Exactly.
But you know what? I feel like we're in California. Like I said, it's just in New York. California has beautiful women. So
Absolutely.
shout out to those beautiful
Shout out
women.
to the beautiful women of
Absolutely.
California, baby, with the BBLs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because in New York,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. There is maybe somewhere, but it's cold right there, and everybody looks a mess. They don't get ready. They don't, they don't do their hair. They're like wearing hats and hoodies, and I'm like, you don't even have to get ready right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So California has beautiful women.
Absolutely, absolutely. So moving forward into your story, And I know we're getting a little sidetracked, but let me just get back on track with this. So you have your son. You realize you got on that long probation. I mean, was the last time that you ever had a paper trail within from breaking the law?
No, so like when my son, maybe like he was like 3 or 4. So I ended up leaving my first husband, his dad, and you break up with somebody, you're like kind of wild. So I went back to kind of being wild. So my parents are there watching my son. Once again, shout out to my mom and dad. So they're helping me. But so I'm, I got caught up in selling drugs. So I met my second husband, and he was.
Why are you marrying all these dudes?
I know.
Are they just like
don't get married?
So you had the baby daddy, first husband, now we're in the second husband. But hold on a second. Let's hold that thought right there. We're going to get into the second husband. But right now I need to pay some bills, guys. Let's pay some bills real quick. You cool with that?
Yeah.
Let me pay some bills real quick and we'll be right back with SARI Lopez. Appreciate you so much. And if you need to take a bathroom break, if you would like a drink, make yourself a drink. Yeah, get yourself a drink, girl, please. Because I said I wouldn't drink.
You guys are being too quiet. I don't know. I'm not boring, but I don't want to be.
You're not boring. Okay. We're chilling right here. Okay, we're cruising. Let's get her a drink. Let's get some alcohol in her because. Let me see. Let me do this right here. Bop, bop, bop. Okay, guys, let's pay some bills right here.
I'll be like.
You want to get a shot or in the glass? In the glass is cool.
Hey, peep gang, looking for some good quality cannabis? I mean, killer quality cannabis. Hit up the folks at Killa Kush. They specialize in bringing the best quality available from OG to exotic. They got it all, baby. Hit them up at Killa Kush _420. And matter of fact, we got 2 locations for you guys. True Organics Whittier, and that address is 13800 Leffingwell Road, Whittier. And we got East LA Exotics where you can get the Killa Kush. Everything good, dog? Yeah, the Killa Kush, and that is 6009 East Olympic Boulevard. Okay, I want to give a big shout out to Roulette Printing. Roulette Printing is our one-stop shop for all your printing products from start to finish. Roulette Printing will walk you through the printing process and get you the quality prints you need. Conveniently located in the city of Huntington Park off of Slauson and Maywood, baby. Please Google and follow all their platforms. Roulette Printing, all right? Looking for the best criminal defense attorney in the city of Los Angeles? Look no further. Doug Sherrod is our guy, and he can be your guy as well. Mr. Sherrod used to be a federal prosecutor as well as a district attorney for the city of Los Angeles. He didn't like the unfair politics on that side of the fence. Now he's going to bat for individuals that have been wrongfully accused or just had a bad weekend, all right? If you'd like to reach out to Mr. Sherrod, KingKongLawyer.com. KingKongLawyer.com. Orange County, stand the fuck up. Gutter Phenom is a lifestyle brand that's dedicated to supporting and inspiring individuals who are determined to achieve their dreams. We believe that no matter where you come through and what you've been through with hard work and dedication, anything is possible. Visit gutterphenom.com. Gutterphenom.com. Use exclusive code Hoodstocks20 to receive 20% off. All right, we also sponsored by La Conecta out of Tejas, baby. Let's go. And if you'd like to shop La Conecta, you can go to shoplaconecta.com. Use Hoodstocks and receive 20% off. We will be right back with SARI Lopez. Thank you, guys. Let's go. We'll be right back. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, all that good shit.
Can I get a moment of your time? Smoke a little, life's a game of chess. Drugs, guns, who just got me on the run? Let me shine a little light. Can I get a moment of your time? Smoke a little, life's a game of chess. Drugs, guns, who just got me on the run? Let me shine a little light. I grew up on the 50s, love my whole city. Got the little ones with me, I ain't going back to prison. House with a yard, I get my own unlocks, I walk my own yard. I'm Figueroa filthy, where I come from, dog, everybody's filthy. Get your hands dirty with them concrete burpees. Beer runs and licks, my heart was made, dog, with every single brick. Legend in my own, I get my little shine on. Got a house loan, I see a hater smiling, broke with a mouth full. Run with my ninjas, used to gun with my ninjas, used to split top ramens on the hood with my ninjas. Can I get a moment of your time? Smoke a little, life's a game of chess. Drugs, guns, who just got me on the run? Let me shine a little light. Can I get a moment of your time? Smoke a little, life's a game of chess. Drugs, guns, hooters got me on the run. Let me shine a little light. A 53 Tortas, Johnny's on the corner, Fidel was on the block. Pizza so hot, cheese slide right off. Terrace 49, I got a creature state of mind. Monta Vista Pat, you need to keep a loaded 9. Maury's on Fig, used to cop the Cortez, you know the Chino got the kicks. Sitting in the park, you my son, I'm the shine. Rolling down the boulevard, palm tree line, bro, call me anytime. Jack and some coke, we can build on our life. Get our money up without committing all these crimes. Get it while you got it, mix your freedom with some logic. A gangster's moving silence, you ain't gotta speak about it. Tatted on our skin, you know what it do, dog, fairly go on in. You need to rest your head, my door swings on a hinge. Hooters on your bumper, come and jump the neighbor's fence. Can I get a moment of your time? Smoke a little, life's a game of chess. Drugs, guns, hooters got me on the run. Let me shine a little light. Can I get a moment of your time? Smoke a little, life's a game of chess. Drugs, guns, hooters got me on the run. Let me shine a little light. A Miriam Street garage, Gonzo, you my bro. Gotta keep your soul alive. Black Sabbath till I die. All heart pork soldier. Everybody know this. Pull me out of mines, you gon' get the fucking notice. Gentrified faces. What they know about Chuck Taylor fat laces. York Boulevard, Troy's drive-thru. Cop some chili cheese fries before I catch a state line. Cali Mex got the meat. BBQs always turn up on the streets. My homies all crazy. OG homies done made me. Conejo, the homie. Ray Loco, the homie. Yogi, the homie. Night Out, the homie. Backstreet Villain, the homie. Wimps, the homie. Let's go deep on me. All respect to the rest of the team. Shit, we miss you motherfuckers. Can I get a moment of your time? Smoke a little, life's a game of chess. Drugs, guns, hooters got me on the run. Let me shine a little light. Can I get a moment of your time? Smoke a little, life's a game of chess. Drugs, guns, hooters got me on the run. Let me shine a little light.
Yeah, baby. Let's shut this shit out real quick. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We back. We back with SARI LOPEZ, baby. Let's get back right here. And so, where were we at with this story? So we were talking about your second husband.
I know, yes, the second husband.
Second husband. Speak on that. Where are we going from there?
Well, I actually have 2 kids with him, my 2 younger daughters.
Okay.
So, but at the time, so I met him when my son was little, like 2, 3. So I started hanging out with him. He sells drugs. I got caught up in all that. And within, 6 months or so, I caught trafficking charges and possession charges. Yeah. So that, because I had a juvenile record, so I had like 9 juvenile felonies before I was 18.
Yeah.
So those counted as a half a point. So they sentenced me to like 72 months. 72 months?
72 months.
Yeah.
Is that state or federal time?
State.
State time.
State time.
So you had to go back in and do 72.
And now I have 2 children with my son, with my son being disabled and sick.
And you got to go away for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was a real wake up call.
So you know what? Yeah, no, 100%. And I want to ask you this, and it's up to you if you'd like to talk about it or not. But sometimes, since you've been charged with the crime, I mean, can you talk about what exactly you were doing? That got you to that 72 months?
Oh yeah. So I was we were selling that. Well, I got busted for selling heroin. So back then, I don't think heroin's really a thing anymore. No.
I think it is.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
What is heroin? Heroin. I think. I mean,
it's it's a less version of fentanyl because everybody's fucked up on fentanyl right now.
I love heroin.
Yeah.
No. Heroin has been for me been there for me when I needed it. You know.
But it's not a sometimes drug though.
Well, no, heroin is not my drug because I'm an upper type of guy. I like to go.
Bring you down.
I like to go fast, but the heroin has always been like a recreational drug. Like it's been honestly, like,
Well, the people we were selling it to weren't definitely recreational people.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
no, I'm like, these people would steal their grandma's teeth.
Yeah,
literally.
yeah.
Like, yeah. So, heroin's, well, it's like fentanyl. Like, people, you need it. You're sick. It's an opiate you're addicted to, you know. It's now, it's not more than an addiction, right? It's physical addiction, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's what I got busted for.
Okay. Did you ever use it?
No. Well, actually, I did one time. So, but I didn't know I was using it. So someone put it on weed, and I never really liked to smoke weed before. Like, that wasn't my thing. And yeah, so, but I didn't like the way it made me feel. Fuck no.
Yeah, it's most definitely
no. I felt not okay. Like, that's not my thing. Yeah. So,
I mean, the only time that I've used heroin has probably been inside the prison system.
Yeah.
But I've used methamphetamine in the prison system too, and that was a whole other level, a whole nother story. But heroin is always just like chilling, you know.
I just saw so many people, like, when I was in that lifestyle, that were so sick.
Yeah.
And they're like, they always talk about being sick, but you don't look sick, like, because they're thinking about being sick. You know, it was just like, it was always they're chasing that. I don't know. It's a different world. Like, it's like with meth, people, yes, they're addicted to it, but they don't physically have to have it. So like I feel like the fentanyl is the same way, right? Like, if you come off of it, you could die, like, from the withdrawals.
The withdrawals are
But they say that this fentanyl shit is like 100 times worse than, like, or stronger than morphine, heroin. You know, it's crazy. That's why you see all these zombies out here. It's crazy. Doing weird shit, right? Like, killing people.
Yeah.
Killing, you know, like, it's crazy. So yeah, but heroin was the light version of that.
You know what? That's got to be the most worst thing that you can ever do under the influence of a hard narcotic, is committing a crime of murder.
And then waking up and wondering, what the fuck have I done?
Exactly.
Really?
Thank you.
Because you hear about it, like, all the time, like how, like, they stabbed young kids and shit. There was like someone who punched a little girl, like, I guess at a bus stop, like, you know, like, just doing crazy shit. You know, they're like out of their minds, literally. So the zombies of LA, it's crazy.
Are real.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, you know what I mean, because it's not who their true spirit is.
How sad, though, it makes people, like, at times schizophrenic, like, have more mental health issues. Like, there's a lot more. It's a sad world. It's sad.
Absolutely. So you go in for these 72 months. And I mean, what's your mindset going into these 72 months?
Oh my gosh.
How many years is 72 months?
5 years.
5 years?
Yeah, 5 years.
So did you do 5 years?
No, I didn't do the full. So I got on a program that was like, you kind of do your time like on parole. So if you fuck up, like, then you do your entire time. They double it. So like, it was about almost 4 years. So, but that's including, so in Washington State at the time, they had like a work release program. So like almost about 7 months was in work release setting. So like, I think that's like a halfway house here. I don't know how it works here.
Halfway house, yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Where you can work and you check back in.
It's like the halfway house.
Yeah. So, but like, they drug test you, they do the breathalyzer thing.
Every time you go out and come back in, all that stuff.
But I actually got pregnant with my daughter, who's now almost 19. I got pregnant with her in work release.
Yeah.
With the same guy. He wasn't my husband at the time, but that was the same guy I got busted with, and which was my husband for years, my second husband.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting pregnant and then hiding my pregnancy for like 8 months. Because I was nervous that I was scared that they're going to send me back to the prison, because a lot of times, you know, I don't know about here in California, but there's like a program where women go and they have children. They have their children. They can keep their children in the prison system in a special program with them for like a couple years.
Yeah.
You know, so like, I thought they were going to send me back. They could send me back and then give me the rest of my sentence. So I hid my pregnancy for like 8 months.
And you know what you're saying right now, there's probably a lot of females that can relate to you in regards to hiding a pregnancy. Like, I've had homegirls like at the spots, you know, and you know, word has it they're pregnant, but they're acting like everything's all gravy and shit, you know. Right. And when I'm fucked up, I'll just be like, hell no, I ain't giving you no shit. You pregnant, girl, you know, I'm this, that, and the other. But it's something that women do sometimes, hide a pregnancy. I mean, how do you hide a pregnancy? How did you hide your pregnancy?
I just wore bigger clothes.
Yeah.
Literally, like I did. Like I was working so much that I wasn't like really big pregnant. And that was my only child that I wasn't really big. Like it was weird because right when I got out, I feel like I kind of like looked really pregnant. But I would just wear, I looked like I was getting chubby, you know? So, but it was crazy because I didn't see a doctor or anything. I was taking my vitamins. Obviously, I'm not drinking, I'm not partying, anything. I'm in jail, you know? But so I'm taking care of myself, but I'm not seeing a doctor. So I was a little nervous to get out and actually go to a doctor because it was so far. You know, it was almost my third trimester. Actually, I was in my third trimester when I got out. So I'm showing up at the doctor's like, hey, I'm already like almost finished with my pregnancy, but I told them the situation, so it was different. But my daughter, like, yeah, she's good. So I had her like a month and a half after I got out.
Yeah.
So I had this baby, and then I'm on parole, and parole's crazy. Of course, they're like checking on you. You know how it is. But at that point, like I really decided to change my life. I'm like, man, I need to get my shit together. My son needs me. My kids need me. Like, I decided to make a change when I was in prison.
Okay.
So, and then obviously when I got out, I started doing, different things, more responsible things.
Yeah. As a mother.
Yes.
Should do.
Yeah, but it's never been like really, really easy. So I've always had the brain to be wild, to be, I've never been like the, person at home making tortillas and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like the type that like, and I'm, no respect to like, whoever, that's their life, but I'm different. So it's never been in me to really be just chilling at home. That's not my lifestyle. So I get kind of bored, nervous, right? I'm sure everybody, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, antsy,
the little like antsy to get you in trouble type of antsy, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
you want a piece of that adrenaline that you've been living all these years.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because that is an addiction by itself, the whole lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that was the hardest thing for me to kick.
It's just to be still.
To be still and just to stay out the way. You know what I mean? Especially when you're used to being in the way. To stay out the way was the hardest addiction. I thought drugs, was hard, but I was like, no, that shit ain't shit, dog. The lifestyle. I was addicted to the lifestyle.
Yes.
The
fast and easy.
Yeah, fast and easy, and just having a good time. Maybe because you're within your fraternity. You know what I mean? Because I would say gangs the lifestyle is a fraternity. And it's a whole different realm of individuals. And if you're used to living life with these people and then you stop living life with these people, then you got to find yourself who you are in the regular world, in the real world, and that's hard.
But you still look different, but you're still different, right? So
yeah,
you don't fit in with those. You don't fit in with those people either.
You don't fit in.
Absolutely. I totally understand that.
That was so hard for me to try to fit in with people that were living on the opposite side of my world. And now I had to fucking program with these people. And now that I'm programming with these people, I am not who I was in this community. I'm big dog over here, but now over here, I'm just a fucking, I'm a pup. No,
but I find if you really want to change your life, you have to become a new person. Like you do. You have to literally be, even though like I'm the same person, but I've evolved into a better person. Absolutely. So that had to happen.
So at this point, this is what happens.
I don't know. I still be fucking up doing stupid shit. I mean, but that was that was like the waking moment. I really needed to get my shit together, like here I have my son. Well, my son almost died when I was in prison. So my son got RSV and
What is RSV?
RSV is it's a respiratory, like a lot of babies or elderly people they die from it. Like that basically affects the lungs. It's a virus.
Okay.
It's like COVID, it's like COVID, but it's more hits babies, or young children, like you were saying, or people with,
compromised immune systems.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they transferred me, as I was in Spokane, Washington at the time, they transferred me to Tacoma, Washington, to be closer to my family. So just in case my son didn't live, So that was hard too. So all these things I'm going through, I'm still in prison, still trying to not, get rid of the old me, but like work on me to be a better person as well. But then dealing with all of these other things that were, you know, a lot for me as a mom, and I couldn't even be there for my child. So I know that most women who have been locked up with children know what I'm talking about. It's, you know, it's heartbreaking. You can call home, but you can't be there.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah,
I think
sucks.
I think for men it would probably, I don't know, probably some men were affected by it, but women, like we're mothers. You know, it's we have children. It's different. So you're connected with your child, like, or your children at a deeper level.
Absolutely. I mean, you went through that birth of having that child. That child was in your system for, you know, 8 months, less or more, right? 100%. I 100% can agree with you on that. And there's some men in this world that want to discredit women. You know, and honestly, like, I hate that shit, especially when motherfuckers are talking about a man trying to decide for a woman if she should have an abortion or not. Like, dude, I ain't with that shit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I ain't with that shit.
I just do what I want.
You know, as you should.
Just do what I want. It's my body. Hello, like, yes, like, yeah, that's crazy.
But there's
then
two
men shouldn't
sides
be out
to-
there sleeping with women then and having unprotected sex if you don't want to have kids. Hello. Like, you know, like,
But if you were at a bar and you were both intoxicated, and sometimes shit happens, right? No, sometimes stuff happens. Let's be real about it. Let's look at it let's thoroughly look at it. I don't want to thoroughly look at this, but I'm just going to say sometimes shit happens and you make mistakes under the influence of narcotics or alcohol, you know, but you got to live with those mistakes. You know, that's life, right?
yeah, that happens.
It happens. And
I mean, I didn't plan any of my children.
why
But
not?
I love all of them because
Yeah.
because I'm not a Maria. Like, I didn't plan my kids.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, who
at
does-
home making dinner every night and sitting down, and like people sit down and have dinner. Like, I don't sit down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've never been like, oh yeah, we go to work 9 to 5. I come home and sit down with my kids and talk at the table like that. I mean,
It's an
I'm
old school
close.
thing.
And no, but my parents did that shit. For real, but my kids, I have I'm very close with my children though too, very close with my children. But I didn't have that average, you know, acceptable American life. You know, that wasn't me. That wasn't my, you know.
There's a lot of families that do live like that, and they do plan kids, you know. But then there's the flip side, you know, which could be the next block over. You know, where they're just
Absolutely.
living the opposite of that life. And shout out to, you know, the ones that were able to be brought up in the world of just like being able to plan a baby out. That's crazy. Like,
Yeah, people do that.
I feel like fuck what I feel like. I'll just say it like this. Like, where I come from, motherfuckers just having a good time, and they were having such a good time that they end up having a baby, you know? And they really didn't like each other. They really didn't know each other. But now they got to figure this shit out.
Yes.
I mean, it's life. It's the world that we live in. It's not perfect, you know, but the ones that are able to do that, I mean, salute to you, you know what I mean? But it just, that doesn't really, concur or resonate too much on certain sides of the fence. And it is what it is, you know? But, so you get out and you want to make these changes. I mean, how did you do your time? Like, you know, what did you like while you were doing time? Did you play handball? I mean, did you make the gangster spreads?
Do they have handball?
Did you do push-ups in the morning? You know what I mean? You know, how'd you do your time? Did you read books? Did you draw?
I read a lot of books.
Yeah?
I read the Bible like a lot of times, to be honest with you. Like, I really, really spent time changing me, working on me, because I knew that I had to be different. And fuck all the people I was hanging out with before, because they were not there for me at all. And that was my reality check of like who was really there for me, you know, and who wasn't. And my parents were there for me, you know. So that I got out. I never talked to any of those people that I fuck with for years. I never. And thank God I did. I look, because I'm doing so much better. Like, peace, like, to everybody, you know, good. I wish them the best, but that was my change. Like, to change me and to change what I was doing, I had to make adjustments with my associations, you know. So that was a big thing for me.
And that's something that I've done in my life, and sometimes that hurts because it's people that, you know.
I've been there for you for years.
Well, you know, we've been with each other in on a certain level.
But sometimes if you want to grow, you have to like drop off the baggage and the garbage.
You know what? I'm not gonna.
You gotta make trips to the and you have to make changes.
I don't want to use that. I don't want to say drop off the excess garbage or luggage, because some of these people were very helpful me in the times when I was on the streets like that, right? You know, and some weren't, you know, but I'll just say sometimes in life you grow apart. You know, you grow apart, right? and you change, and you got to look out for yourself, and you got to do what's best for the ones that are like with you, you know, underneath your roof. Or sometimes you got to be selfish and just take care of yourself.
Yeah. Well, we all change. We all evolve. We should. If you're not changing, then I don't know, something's wrong. But we should be evolving as people all the time.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. So you get done doing this time, and where are we going from there?
So I get out, and I'm on obviously parole for, you know, and then now I have a new baby because I was pregnant in jail or prison. Yeah. So I have a new baby. So now I have 3 kids. I have my oldest daughter, my son who's sick, and then a new baby. And I'm working. Like I just was focused on working. So I got.
What kind of work are you doing?
I was managing.
At the time.
I was managing a restaurant, like in the kitchen. So I knew I knew the lady before, because I had moments of having my shit together. You know, I had you know, a restaurant prior to going to prison. So and then I totally fucked it off going to prison. You know, so I've had moments of like good and bad.
Yeah.
You know, up and down for sure. So I get out, and I'm, you know, on parole. I'm managing a kitchen, and I'm going through the court proceedings with my son too at the same time. So I have a lot going on, and. You know, that was tough too, because they're like, you know, people, when you go to court, you know, this is like a big lawsuit with a huge hospital, and they're like questioning like my past, they're throwing it in my face, you know. So you got, sometimes that shit's hard to accept, you know. People, it's different, because I know a lot of people who, when they get out of jail and out of prison, they have trouble getting a job, or they have trouble, you know, fitting back into society, right? And functioning with normal, whatever normal is, right? With those type of people. So that was challenging for me to try to, because I remind you, I still didn't fit in, but I'm trying to get my shit together.
When did you move to Mexico? That's.
Oh, so I first moved to California. So I moved with my youngest daughter. She's now 15. So I moved to California 15 years ago.
Why did you move to California?
Well, once the lawsuit was finished for my son, he actually is like, he is better here. Like, he's like healthier in California, like the weather.
Yeah, the sun.
You know, he was so sick in Washington all the time. He had pneumonia like constantly, so he was really sick. So moving here was like a new chance for him, like at life.
Yeah.
So so I've been here 15 years, and then I moved here though with my second husband. So my girls' dad, I was with him, married to him for over 22 years.
Wow. 22 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but like within the time, so when we moved to Apple Valley. Like, I bought a house there. Didn't even know anything. Like,
Apple Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why the fuck I moved there, but
it was cheap. It's cheap. You get a nice house.
Well, I had a beautiful house, but that was the problem when I tried to sell it. It's hard to sell a house when you have a nice house in Apple Valley, you know?
Yeah.
So, but that was where I first moved, and within that time, my second husband goes back to prison. Okay, because he got busted with me when I first did time, so he's doing time while I'm doing time too. So it was like a big like drug ring type of shit when we got busted. But then so he goes back. So he was abusive at times, and so like the neighbors call the police, and
physically or verbal?
Physically.
Okay.
So like at times when he was drinking, he'd be physically abusive. Yeah. So he got, and he wasn't legal, so he got deported. Okay. So he ended up he came back into the United States, and he got charged with federal re-entry into the country, so it's federal time. So he got sent to prison, and my girls were young, my 2 daughters, so I have the younger daughters, and he was sent to federal prison for like 6.5 years. Oh, okay. So when he was released, after they deported him, then I totally moved my life to Mexico, crazy enough.
to be with him.
Yes, but in the midst of him being in prison, that's when I was like, man, I need to make money, but I couldn't work with my son. So that's when I started my company.
Okay, what company did you start?
So I started a dancewear line. So my daughters were like really involved with like competitive dance. So I started. It's called Candy Couture. So it's I started, but I didn't know what I was doing. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. Is like I did not know what I was doing. I didn't have like a business degree. I didn't, go to school. Like I was horrible at going. I never showed up for school when I was in school. So I started a company just really in my room, and then later I moved it to my garage, which is now my company today.
And this is, what did you call it again?
Candy Couture.
Which is a dance.
It's dancewear, like for little girls and like athletic wear for teenagers.
Okay. Yeah.
So I got in like the right niche at the right time. So it was like it just blew up. It's crazy because I planned on making like items for little girls, like and selling it like at the studio, like to other dance moms. But I started sending things to people for free on Instagram, and they would post for me. And so I built my company completely off Instagram in the beginning.
Shout out to Instagram,
Yeah.
man. It's really helped a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yeah, like that was before it was like really saturated. So like now it's different. It's a little, you can grow, but it's like takes more time. Before you could like, this is when it first was, came out.
Absolutely. Switch that camera, dog, please. And so I wanted to ask you how it was living in Mexico when you moved out there. If you could speak a little bit about the life, the change. Washington, California, now you're in Mexico. And then what happened to that husband while you were out there?
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I moved out there, and things were, it's different. Like it's really chill to live in Mexico. It's it's a different lifestyle. Like it's really, I love it. It's beautiful. It's a different lifestyle. It's very easygoing. So I was out there, I'd go out there like 2 or 3 weeks, and I'd come back to Orange County and, run my company from Orange County for like 1 or 2 days a week. And it was a different type of lifestyle, but for my company, it worked. So I was running the majority of my company from Mexico. I was manufacturing, which we're still manufacturing out there as well, but now we're manufacturing inside the United States. So I started creating and designing everything in Mexico for like the first 7 years. So it was interesting to live in Mexico, but yeah.
So you were back and forth from Orange County to Mexico, and that's...
Yeah, but I was pretty much living like in Mexico almost like full time.
Okay.
I would come back like 1 day every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like just to check up on, or to like pick up groceries or, because you can't get everything in Mexico.
Yeah, you got.
But it's like, it's a different lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's chill. Like it's beautiful. I have a house right on the beach. So it's very serene. It's very peaceful, but like the cops, like I was talking about earlier, the cops are crazy. So I've had a lot of crazy shit happen to me with the cops. I've never been in jail in Mexico, thank God. Like no one wants, hell no.
What kind of things can you talk about with the cops over there?
Well, like, so my previous car, I had a black Range Rover, and I had it was blacked out. So I had a cop in the area that I lived in. He was new, and he would come and he would just harass me. He'd pull me over, like thinking that I had guns, or when they see somebody driving a nice car, you have to be doing something illegal in their minds, because people over there are suffering. They're poor,
Yes.
So they're thinking that you have guns, you have drugs, you're not doing something. I'm like, no, I sell children's dancewear. They laugh. They think it's a joke.
They're like, no way,
yes.
right?
Yeah, this cop he would literally take me for $300. Like, or he would threaten to take my car for like 6 months. And they can do that. They can impound it for 6 months. And who knows what happens to your car in those 6 months, right?
Facts. Yeah.
And then so I, gave him money, but then he ended up getting killed like a couple like months later. They're all like,
How
they're all messy.
much did that cost?
I didn't do that.
I'm just fucking with you.
Hell no. No, but out there it's crazy. Like they'll shoot the chief of police right in front of the police station, be done with it, and it's not even anywhere on like Facebook, not the news, nothing. It's just clean. Like you hear it happens, but it might be posted for a minute, that shit disappears. Yeah,
Fuck
it's shady.
that.
So there's like things, but I feel like if you're minding your own business in Mexico, if you're if you're like doing like I'm not out there doing anything illegal, you know. So if
Do you speak Spanish fluently?
not fluently, but I do speak Spanish, and I understand my people. I mean, it's in Mexico, but I speak like Spanglish.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I wasn't raised speaking Spanish. You know,
Is it harder living in Mexico speaking Spanglish?
no, because like my people get my bad Spanish. No, for real, they do. They like literally because all of them they don't speak English. So
What did you do? The Ancestry and
I did the Ancestry.com and I did the what's the other
21
one?
and
21 and something.
Me
23 and me.
23 and me. There
I
you
did
go.
both.
Yeah.
Because the first one I thought it was messed up because I left it in my car. You know, I have to put the saliva in the thing, and it was in my hot car in Apple Valley for like a whole week and a half. And
That's when it said you were Armenian, right?
Yeah, something. I was like, no. So I was like, it says you're a bunch of stuff. Like we're all super
You're like,
mixed,
I don't
right?
even like hummus.
I know, for real. Oh my gosh, no, but so I thought it was like a joke. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna redo it,
Yeah.
and then no, it's for real. And whether you could leave the saliva in the hot car and it's still for real.
Isn't that so crazy?
Yeah, I mean, it leads you to your family.
I did it too.
Yeah, it leads you to your family. That's crazy. I was like, no, like obviously you hear about DNA with the police and shit.
So what was the results, if you don't mind speaking on it? Like,
what do you mean?
What the results of your DNA?
Oh, like I am. My dad was Mexican, so
Okay.
he's from. And then
And you've never met your pops?
no, I think he's dead.
Okay, but you've never met him?
No, but I was grossed out when I heard that he was like 25 and my mom was like 13. What the fuck? Like, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just didn't. That killed it for me to have like, you know, he's a grown ass man with a child.
Yeah.
So I never really looked for him.
Yeah.
And then my mom, like, then I'm like part European. Like,
We all are.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I'm just really, we're all really mixed. I'm like 8% black. Yeah.
They said something about my DNA.
Well, I think they're like, we're all like so mixed.
Yeah, I got a
right?
certain percentage of being brother. So
Okay, so I'm not alone.
no, yeah, I can pull it up right now and tell you exactly what it is.
It's crazy.
But it's like a tribe. It's an African tribe that I have a percentage of. And so when I posted that on Instagram, well, everybody was saying, well, look, you good fool. You can use the N-word now.
Oh my gosh, that's what my daughter said when I first went out. She said, okay, that's perfect. We can say. I was like, don't say that again. Please don't say that.
Does your daughter use the N-word?
No. No, that would not be acceptable.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
it's trashy.
I'd be mad if my girls are like, well, I ain't gonna lie.
When you hear people talking like that, do you look at them like, what are you saying?
Well, no, I was saying it for a certain point because my little homies were all
I mean,
with
when
me
you're
and-
singing with the music though, like, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, YG comes on and you're like,
Yeah, you say all
I
the
mean, that's
lyrics.
different.
Yeah.
That's different. But if you're just saying it, that's just weird.
Well,
I mean, I don't know. It'd be
no,
weird
it
for me.
is weird. I stopped saying it because my homeboy Villain was like, "Fool, what the fuck? We didn't grow up saying it like that." I'm like, "You're right, dog. I just got all these little motherfuckers with me. I had all the homies on 50 at my crib, and they all had me using the N-word. You know what I mean? Because I was the old dude with a bunch of young dudes. But I stopped saying it though because it you know, it's just not. It's not who we are, you know, or it's just not like. I don't know, man. You just got to think about it. Like, you know, you might be saying that word right now. Some of you motherfuckers are saying that word right now that aren't African American. You might be Mexicano or whatever, you know.
No, people get offended by that.
But
they
what
get
if
really, really
what
offended
if
by
you're
that.
around an older black couple? You know what I mean?
And you say that,
Are you going to feel
you're just gonna
comfortable
look really
saying that?
stupid.
Because they're going to feel disrespected by that, you know? And we have to,
Yes.
I mean, but it's hip hop, you know?
Yeah,
it
so
really
like I
is
said,
hip
you're
hop.
singing like with the music, like a hip hop song. You
I mean,
know,
there's
like,
Asian dudes saying it right now.
right?
He's
But
like-
there's a lot of people saying it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people saying it.
And it's just like, I mean, it is what it is. And I always say this, and I'll say it again, like, especially in the city right here to LA. LA is a melting pot of
Yes.
a lot of different races,
Yeah.
a lot of different cultures. And, you know, there's homies that have raised up with brothers and they're their neighbors, you know, they're their people, you know, and, you know, when you're around your people and you grow up with these people, you know what I mean? We get things from each other, and sometimes we might get that lingo from them, and we might feel comfortable to talk amongst them. But I would say
it's offensive to most, right? Like I would.
well, the old school people, but the new
Yeah.
school people, like they have
They
different.
like it?
Well, they have different values. They have
Right.
different values. I would say that respect is an old school value, and I hate to say it like that Because there might be some people, young cats, that are saying, "Man, fuck you, I respect, nigga," you know what I mean, or something, you know what I mean, you know. But like, really, respect is there's a lot to it. Respect, you know, if you open up the definition of respect it's probably a long definition.
Yes.
I mean, if you look at them, there's a short definition,
different ideas,
interpretation of what respect is. I mean, just like they have a different interpretation what the Bible is telling you.
Yes.
You know, like everybody interprets it the way they read it.
Absolutely.
And they twist it to maybe what they were taught
or
their agenda.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, it is what it is. It's nor here or nor there. And at the end of the day, like, you know, you just kind of accept it to a certain point, you know. You don't have to respect it, but sometimes there's things like you can't change somebody, you know, if they're using that word. So you just accept it to a certain point, and if those people have I don't know, dude. It's a tough subject.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a really tough subject. So you're in Mexico, and you figured out a way to live out there, you know, with the.
Well, I was making money out there. Like with my company. That's where legitly, like, I still create all my samples there. So I find a group of people. They've been working for me for years.
You had a sweatshop going on out there,
absolutely.
Huh? Did you? Yeah, that's
kinda.
dope. Yeah, for sure.
Not like really. They're not sweating.
What were you paying them? Like fucking a handful of beans a day or something?
Handful of beans. That sounds Mexico. No, for real. Like I feel like I pay my people good. I do, but they also my product is very specific and it's very detailed. So I feel like it's worth for me to pay them more. You know, because it's not like I'm making like T-shirts or like, you know what I mean. Those are simple. People can that's quick. So my stuff is more detailed, more. There's just a lot more detail that goes into it.
Well, you know what? If I started a company in Mexico, you know what I mean, I'd make sure I take care of my people, you know what I mean, out there. You know what I mean? I'd offer them medical. And the medical plan wouldn't be your average medical plan. I think my medical plan would consist of, you know what I mean, a box of Band-Aids a week.
They use tape. They don't even like Band-Aids. They don't even like that. They're like
duct tape. Is that what you're saying?
They're saying that I was just buying Band-Aids the other day. They're like, we don't like those. Don't work. They want to use tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. They're very
I know
simple.
what that is. I'm an electrician.
Yeah, you put tape on it.
And if I cut my fucking hand, you know what I do? I get that black electrical tape and I wrap it around it.
That way,
I'm
when
good.
you wash your hands, it doesn't come off, right?
Yeah.
Or do you wash your hands, right?
I wash my hands.
I'm just joking.
I just look dirty to you.
You know, I'm joking. You were talking about COVID and how I was really obsessed with the hand washing during COVID.
What about those idiots, dude? During COVID, they were fucking the social media is so retarded. But those with
the gloves?
No, dude. Check. Sorry, Miss Lopez. There was this one. What do you call the people? A social media person, right? Influencer, right? And so the dude had a gang of followers, and some of these guys were licking toilet seats. You know, like, fuck COVID, watch this. You know what I mean?
That's gross.
And then the next thing you know, they were fucking deadly ill in the hospital.
Yes,
there was some weird shit going around.
Yeah, that's crazy. Why would you want to lick a toilet seat anyway? It's disgusting.
Motherfuckers will do anything for the views nowadays.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what I mean? Even try to pick a fight win. Like, motherfuckers are selling out left and right around this bitch, dog. You know what I mean? Seriously, dog. These guys are fucking.
Me or what?
They're clout chasing like a motherfucker. Old dudes, especially the old drunk dudes. You know what I mean? Hey, fucking. Anyways,
like cut them off.
Cut them off. You know what I mean? I keep on telling these motherfuckers no drinking during the podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But hey, this is what we do. So you start your company. You start building traction in Mexico.
Well, slowly. So it was slow. Like at first, it was like I get like an order, and then it would be like another order in 5 days. It was a slow process. It wasn't like, oh, like right away. So that's what everybody wants. Fast and easy.
Yeah.
Right. So it was a slow process in the beginning to actually build your clientele, sell your products, and things like that. So slowly, I found it was a slow climb,
slow grind.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so when do you make the decision to move back to California?
Well, I left my second husband almost 3 years ago.
3 years ago?
Yeah, because he's abusive too.
But do you miss him?
No.
Was it an abusive?
No,
in a
but
good
you know
way?
what? I
'Cause
I
I've been
respect him though,
I've
because he
been
was
with
like my
females.
friend.
I've been with females that like to get choked while having sex.
Okay, that's different than someone punching you like you're a man.
You're
know?
100%, and I apologize for that
So
dumbass shit.
No,
Yeah.
but that's
100%.
But you know, like I didn't back down. Like I'm not some bitch. So, but he's a man. He's stronger. Men are typically stronger than women, right? So, and and they punch a little bit harder. So
I'm sorry you went through that.
No, but
100%.
it's the thing is I'm like I told you, I'm raising young queens.
Yes.
And so I felt like, well, I stayed with him because he helped me with my son. So it's a whole different aspect. So I have so much going on right here. So I moved to Mexico and with my son. So I need help with my son. And he helped me before he went to prison. That was the second time he went to prison. So he was a big part in me taking care of my son. You take him to therapy. My son, like really, if somebody would take care of him, you take 3 nurses, around the clock. So him helping me, I felt like I put up with a lot. I put up with a lot more than I normally would have.
Yeah.
So that's why it took me so long to leave.
So you're picking and choosing your battles.
So I moved my son. My son's in Mexico too, and so I have my whole family there, and so I had help. So that's when I was running my company.
Okay. So there's a point in this story where you break free from that abusive relationship, and
finally, yes,
and you move your family. When you broke free, was it simultaneously of moving your family to California to get away from this abusive dude?
No, because he actually stayed. Like I have a house there, so he stayed in the house for a while. And like he was like, my daughters would go visit my daughter. My daughter, who's 19, runs my company in Mexico.
Wow.
So she was still like, she wanted a relationship with him. So it was like, it worked out. So, but until I figured out he's really like not a healthy person to be around. So he's no longer living in my house over there. So I was like kind of I would run and I actually, because he threatened like to burn everything I had. Like I have machines, I have patterns, I have fabric. Yeah. So, but people who are angry and hurt, they hurt other people, right?
Absolutely.
So, but it was challenging. It was scary because I literally had all of my company in Mexico. So leaving him was like a lot. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, because now we're talking about, at that point, my company was doing like 1.2 mil, 1.5 mil. We're talking about leaving all of that just to leave a man. So like I was scared, like what was going to happen. But I made it work. So I brought my company here and I manufacture probably about 90% in United States. And then I'm still doing about 10% in Mexico.
Wow. But
that was me to prove a point, because he was like, oh, you can't do it without me, because he did help me build my company in the beginning.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What did he bring to the table besides take care of your son in regards to your company? What would he bring to the table? What strong qualities?
Well, he would help me. We would work long hours. He would help me cut things. Like I have cutters over there. They cut the fabric. Yeah. So we do everything from manufacture. So from everything from design to cutting to, the contractors to, everything, and then bagging it and, inventory. And then we have a warehouse and we ship it. So every part of the process is part of what, we do everything. We don't outsource. Like a lot of people buy like pre-made tees or whatever, which is cool. Like whatever, that works for a lot of people. But like for me, we actually manufacture everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
well, children is hard. You can't buy like pre-made like dancewear.
Yeah.
So it was challenging though, because I'm leaving everything. So I'm leaving, I don't have care for my son. I'm a businesswoman. Hopefully I have a business still, So it was challenging, and it was a tough decision to make to actually to leave. So, but I felt like I was a hypocrite, because here I have 2 young daughters looking at me, and I'm like, oh, I want you to be treated like a queen, and I'm sitting here and I'm still putting up with shit from a man who hits me.
Yeah.
So that was difficult.
What's worse, physical abuse or verbal abuse?
For me, I don't know. You could talk shit to me all day. I don't give a fuck. But they're just crazy. But I think for women, I think that emotional abuse or verbal abuse can be. I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough one.
Well, they're
equally bad.
It seems like politically you want to answer correctly, but in your personal, as you as a human being, you would say like, "Fool, get the fuck out of here with them words. That shit don't faze me." But once you put your hands on me, now it's a different ball game.
Yes.
Like now.
Well, I would just suck it up too. There is a point, like I have this scar on my forehead, and I would lie to my children though. I'm lying to my children that a machine fell and hit me in my head.
Yeah.
And like. We got into it. He slammed my head on the steering wheel, cut my head open. I literally the next day, I had purchased a dog from Korea, and I was flying out to San Francisco to go get my dog, and I didn't have time to get stitches. And after you wait for a period of time, you can't get stitches anymore. So I'm like, I'm having him help me. I'm like, fuck it, just put Cola Loca on there, and I'm gonna put a hat on. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
So I just like sucked it up. And I would lie to my kids, and then after you get hit in the head like that. Well, I've had several black eyes in my life, but like I would, you get 2 black eyes and it swells because it's swelling, drops in your face. And I'm lying to my children that something else happened, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people there's a lot of women out there putting up with that type of shit.
Which you shouldn't. Yeah, absolutely. Physical abuse is, I would say I'm like fucking, and I'll be honest, I'm not a physical abuser, but I'll be talking some shit sometimes.
That's me too. I do talk shit.
I'll be talking some shit sometimes where someone can say, "Hey, bro, that's fucking like that's verbal abuse, and that shit's just as bad as hitting someone." But where I come from, it's just like, nah, like I'm a man. I ain't gonna fucking put my hands on you, but I'm gonna talk some shit though, because that makes me feel better or something.
Are you married?
Huh?
Are you married?
Damn near married.
Okay.
Shit, like
Do you make her cry? Don't make her cry.
Do I've
she's probably used to you by now.
She's used to me by now. She's used to me by now to just be like, you know what? I love him, but he's an asshole. But you know what? His intentions are good. His intentions are good.
I feel like you just grow accustomed to people too. You're like, okay, I know he doesn't mean it. Like,
well, there's things that she does too that drive me motherfucking crazy.
I think it's just normal, the two people being together.
And it ain't necessarily verbal or her trying to beat me up, but she'll be doing some shit that's just worse than all that in my books.
Yeah.
Straight up, like being disorganized. That's just crazy. I'd rather you be organized and verbally abuse me.
You're like, please. Yeah, I feel like, like people, because once we're told something over and over, you do believe it. You start to believe what you hear, and so I feel like a lot of women that can really mess with their minds. It's
depends
not a good
on the
thing.
female, right?
Right.
Depends on.
Well, my first husband was physically abusive too, and then verbally abusive. So when he stopped, after I had my son, he stopped putting his hands on me, but then he was so verbally abusive, emotionally abusive, that it was like, it's really unhealthy.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm not trying to like condone any of my bullshit, but I live in a glass house, and I'll say I'm way far from perfect, but my heart is gold, but sometimes, when you're from a certain background and shit, like you just do stupid shit and make stupid mistakes, which I still do to this day. And so I'm not exempt from the bullshit.
No, but that's normal. Like we all come on, we're all human. Like we make mistakes. Like I still make mistakes, but it's what you do after the mistake, right? Like we're supposed to get a little bit better each time.
Yeah.
Right? Like at least you recognize it. So a lot of people don't. They're like toxic their whole lives. There's a lot of people like that. But sometimes that's how my second husband is though. Like he's like over there in Mexico, like he's way worse. Like he's lost without me. Like he's a mess.
I think toxicity makes a relationship fun. Like, what are we gonna do without being toxic? You know what I mean?
Try working. Do you work with your wife?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, try that shit. Because that shit, like, as I was the boss.
That would fuck me up.
Okay, I'm the boss. Imagine he gets out of prison. I like had this house. So I started my company before he was out. And then out of my garage, out of my room, like it slowly evolved in different parts of my house as it grew. And then when we moved to Mexico, so it was already somewhat established. And then so he would help me, he helped me grow it. We started finding people over there to sew and to help us and in the business. Slowly we started to grow the company over there. But he would be, he got out of prison and he comes, I pick him up, like, cause they deport them and they drop him off like in TJ at the border. And I go pick him up and I bring him home to the house. And I had rented a house, like a nice house, because you either live in a shack in Mexico or you live in a really nice house.
Yeah.
So of course I'm not gonna live in a shack, like literally, like made out of like plywood, So I got a nice house, and I still have the house. But I think he thought that I was selling drugs when he was in prison. He didn't realize that I was actually running a company until time went on and he saw what I was actually doing.
Wow.
And then we slowly started evolving. With Mexico for sure, everything, like Mexico has been good to me. That's why I'm still having my people over there work. I feel bad, like I'm helping their families. They feed their families off of the wage. I pay them good. I think that I don't even know what the minimum wage is in Mexico. It's not very much.
It's fucking $3.50.
No, it's less than that.
It's less than that?
Hell yeah.
Oh shit.
The people in Mexico, in South Mexico, they make $50 a week.
That's fucking nuts. You know what?
But at border, it's more like, I want to say maybe like 80. Don't quote me on this, but like it's not much.
Let me say this.
That's minimum wage, though.
Sadi, let me tell you this. So that makes a little sense because I had a homie that reached out to me. I finally answered his call because I guess he's been. I don't answer a lot of calls that they're not logged into my phone, but I answered this call. It was a call from Mexico, And he's like, hey, what's up? This is so-and-so, whoop-de-whoop-whoop, dog. I've been fucking supporting today when I've been trying to get at you, dog. I fell on hard times, whoop-de-whoop, this, that, and the other, right? And he goes, I would like to, I'm asking, bro, like, man, I need a little help out here, And I was just like, fuck.
Is this somebody you did time with? Or?
No, I don't even know him, but he supports the podcast, right? He's like, I'm a goonie.
He's like,
what
okay.
I mean? He goes, I'm a goonie. And I was just like, damn, bro, I'm sending Playboy Eddie this Sunday to New York City. And this phone call was like a day or two ago. And he's like, nah, bro, I'm not. I said, what I can do is I can try to raise you money in the platform, bro, if that helps, you know what I mean? And he goes, well, I'm not really asking for that much. I just need $50 or $60,
You're like, okay, wait.
To help me get through the week. And I was like, well, you know what? That's something that I can do, And I don't know I just taking what he's telling me that he's real and a support of the podcast, whoop-de-whoop, this person, that, and the other, And so I said, well, if you're asking me for 50, I'm going to send you 25. And just some motherfuckers are going to be saying, there goes the Jew in that motherfucker. You know what I mean? Straight up, motherfuckers are talking
60,
shit.
60, here's 20.
There's fools in the chat right now. So I tell the dude, he calls me while I'm at work, and I said, bro, check it out, dog. I'm working right now. I'm gonna look out for you. Send me your Cash App. So he sent me his Cash App. I believe it was Thursday night. And so
recently?
A couple of days ago.
Okay.
And so our last night, what is it, Friday night? Last night. Literally last night. So I sent him $25. I didn't give him what he asked for, but I gave him close to half of what he was asking for. He said $50 or $60. And you know what? He got back to me and he was just like praising me. Like, bro.
No, because it's a big deal. They're poor in Mexico.
Maybe,
it's for real.
I thought maybe he'd be tripping that I didn't send him the full amount, which I kind of said that I would on the phone, but I sent him half, $25.
Where is he at?
He's in TJ.
Oh,
and so
he's a job?
Yeah, right? No, yeah, exactly.
Facts.
That's dope. That's how we connect dots right here.
Real shit.
Switch the camera real quick, Nick. I'm sorry, love, I got to pee
Real
again.
shit.
Okay, you're good.
Yeah.
I have to tell you. Wait. You're gonna talk with me though.
No, that's what he's talking about. If you could connect the dots, that kind of stuff helps people over there.
Yeah, I know, for real. I mean, life is not easy in Mexico. So if I can help people, absolutely.
Real talk, we got a lot of people that support us over there, just from being over here.
Yeah.
Like, getting deported. And
well, you see a lot of people at the border, like in the border, like cities that they've been deported. They speak really good English. Those people usually can make more money though.
Money if they're living there.
Yeah.
Like if you go there with some money, you're good.
Yeah.
But if you gotta make Mexico money,
no, it's not. It's different.
Yeah,
it's way different.
You're gonna have a different time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's way different. So that's why I look at people here and they're complaining about this and that. But at the same time, the cost of living is way different too.
For sure.
Facts. So like the rent, like you can get. I know people who rent like a little like studio like house for like 100, 150. It's maybe not the nicest, but what are you paying out here in LA? A lot, right? So it's expensive to live here. And the food
sure.
and
Yeah.
But yeah, but it's not an easy life. Like most of them don't have vehicles. They don't have a car. They don't have and they're okay with that though. A lot of times,
Yeah.
they're accustomed to the way that they live.
They're used to it, right?
Yeah. So sometimes they don't even want more, which is not a good thing. So I've tried to be like really
think you always
inspirational to
gotta-
all of my employees over
Yeah.
there, and it's sometimes like you're slapping yourself in the face, right?
You're
Like
trying to teach them to want more, right?
yeah, but they don't really want more.
Yeah.
Like they see themselves coming in the transport like every day. Like it's different. The life is different. But
How big is your company in Mexico?
I have probably like 15 employees, and then I have
Okay.
people who work for me in TJ too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those people, most of them have been with me like eight, about.
They're
the
like
longest
family
is-
now and shit, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You think about like how you're supporting their families too. You're feeding. It's like a ripple effect, like everything. So like I feel committed to them.
Absolutely.
So I was a little bit nervous. So like when I first left my ex, I slowly started moving my stuff out of the house, and until he noticed that I was actually leaving because the house was empty.
And was he tripping? Like, oh shit.
No, I think that we already knew though that we weren't like it
Yeah.
wasn't a good place.
Yeah.
And then plus, when if you're in Mexico and you're like your significant, like your partner or whatever, that can come to United
Yeah.
States, like there's trust issues, right?
Well, if you were trying to leave me, I'd throw myself in one of your suitcases you were taking. And then whenever you ended up, I'd pop up and be like, what? That's your name?
No, they ain't even tripping. Like if I left,
You
like
ain't leaving me.
and I turn my location on, no joking.
Be like, it ain't that easy, girl. You know what I mean? You pop up out your little rolling luggage.
And,
Where we at?
oh my gosh, that's funny. Yeah, that's pretty much how he felt. So like when I would leave, he would be tripping, So yeah, that was a lot of the issue, But I get it. But he has a girlfriend over there, so I wish him the best of luck,
Is she ugly?
I don't know. Probably. I'm unique though, because not just the fact that I'm
She's
like
got a
I'm a
BBL.
hard ass worker though. That's why I
Yeah.
built my company. Like I wasn't from sitting around doing shit.
Yeah.
Like watching TikTok all day and shit. No, fuck no. Like I'm working my ass up. Like in the beginning, I worked 16-hour days. Like I was sleeping and working. I mean, I'm like working nonstop. So I really put the effort in. Like if people want to make it, they want to have a company that grows that's making 6-7 figures. You got to put in time. And there's not a lot of people like now that because I also do coaching too. So I see people, I meet
What do you
people.
coach? What do you coach?
Well, I do personal development coaching, and I also coach people with like their businesses. So like people who are like starting out, or they have a company but it's not growing, or
And you have no education. Is that correct?
no. Well, I'm no like high school. I got a GED in juvenile
But
prison.
it's really interesting. And I want to say this for you and saluting you on this is that it's crazy because there's people that go to school for a fucking shitload of years,
and
right?
they never use a degree.
And the degree is like, it's fucking useless,
Paying
But
100,000 back in with us for
I mean,
years,
you are the
right?
true definition of entrepreneurship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? No education, figuring it out as you go. Trial, error. You know what I mean? Which we've done in this podcast, and we're still trying to figure this bitch out.
But that's the whole point. Is like when you're, and obviously you're still doing it, like you're making it 6 years later. So like that's what people don't get. That they're like, oh, trial, I give up. They don't really have the like longevity, which I feel like it's the same mindset as being, on the streets or whatever you're doing. Like you could turn illegal activities into legal. It's the same shit. You flip your money. It's the same.
Apply it otherwise.
Absolutely, but in a legal way.
Yes.
So there's a lot of things that I feel like people who have been on the streets or, been involved in whatever, that they bring a lot to the table because they know, okay, when you go to prison, obviously you know how to suffer, like, and you made it.
Yeah.
A lot of normal people don't want to suffer, so they want quick and easy.
Yes.
So they're like, oh, I opened my company a month ago, but I don't have any sales, so I give up. And then they spend all this money and they give up. They're like, they don't have that grit, that grind to actually push forward to keep it pushing until, you have to, it takes time to break over to the other side of actually being profitable in your company at times.
Exactly.
So it's not it's not an easy fix.
No.
And that's
It's not.
a lot of people don't understand that. That's, I feel like, a big issue with why people well, white people don't start companies for one, and then white people don't. Why they give up too quick? Anyways, right? They wanna sit on TikTok.
You got something against TikTok, don't you?
No, not really. But I'm like, what the fuck are you? Like, I watch TikTok if I'm trying to learn something or look for like something. If I'm like traveling and I need to find like a makeup artist in a certain area or a restaurant, like that type of shit.
What do you utilize more, TikTok or Instagram, in regards to your,
I'm not
finding
really,
those people?
honestly, I'm not really into social media that much. So, no, I have people that run it for me. So, like, I took, but it is.
Yeah, because originally your assistant got at me.
Yeah. So, like, what I'll post it. Even that is like a little bit difficult for me. I don't sit on Instagram. Like, I want to make money. Like, if I'm on my phone, I'm making money. So like, I'm not on the phone like scrolling through stupid TikToks and some of that shit's funny, but that's not me. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like, it's all about your priorities and what you want to put into it. So if you want to make money, you want to make, be successful, whatever it may be. Nowadays, everybody's opening their own companies, but people have to get past the point of like things might be hard in the beginning. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
But what if you never get past that hard? So you're just going to be doing shit, like.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's so many possibilities. I feel like everybody like has an LLC, right?
Yeah.
Nowadays.
Yeah.
But
even I got one.
Yeah. Well, that's
Imagine that. Just had to pay $800 a week ago
right?
for my
you just
LLC.
Have to come on, it's money for the government. But yeah, I feel like if you, that's the being extraordinary. That's the extra you have to be.
Well, that is what the division between successful people and the people that just hit that barrier and gave up. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be relentless. You got to be a dog.
Absolutely,
in the game. And I say I'm a dog in the game. I'm a dog in life. And I'm not trying to big myself up, but that's just. It's who I am. I'm kind of like a scrappy type of dude, I can't beat them all, but like shit, you get a couple licks from me, even if I lose the fight. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's how I felt with my ex.
Yeah, right?
You got to get a couple in.
But so you got a new dude right here. What's up with this guy right here? What does he bring to the table besides that fucking... He's got all his teeth. All right, a nice smile. I'm gonna put you on the spot?
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, what does it take for a dude to make you happy?
You have to do everything I ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
For real.
I'm a total queen.
Well,
and every woman should be a freaking queen for real. Like, you should not be settling for doing, like, your man doing nothing for you. I want everything done for me.
Well, when I shook your man's hand, he had hands like he was washing dishes for a week straight.
He doesn't wash dishes. I have a house cleaning lady.
I'm sorry. We don't disrespect my boy.
Yeah,
we clown right here, dog. You spent something.
I talk shit to him like that all day.
Yeah,
I talk so much shit.
It.
Like, you have no idea. Like, I talk shit.
He looks like a wounded animal right now.
Yeah, he's like... No, but I mean, like, I do. Like, I require a lot of things I never had. Well, actually, like, my second husband, the one I was with for years, he was, good to me in so many ways, but the ways that I didn't, that, obviously when he was abusive, that just killed it all.
Is it hard for a man to be in a relationship with a woman that has a background from being in an abusive relationship? I mean, does a man have to be extra gentle? Right?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so, no. Well, it depends, because I feel like, it depends on if you carry your toxic traits over to the next relationship, which can be a habit, right? We all build bad habits.
Exactly.
So, like, and I'm crazy, so I could be crazy and I talk a lot of shit. So not all men they're gonna tolerate. I just say it like it is. I'm not even talking shit. I'm just really honest. So if I think something, I'm like, get your shit together. Like, what the fuck? Like, so, and a lot of men need to get their shit together.
What if a man really loves a woman and the love is abundant, right? There's a lot of fruit on the tree, but he's not sexually pleasing her to the extent that she wants to be sexually pleased. She's gonna leave? Yeah, is that the way it works? I mean, how many
because women, we're like attention seekers. Like, just let's be honest, right? Like, women, if we need to keep it, have to keep it interesting all of the time. We get bored easy.
How many orgasms a month does a female have not to leave their man?
Well, most men don't even know how to please a woman, so that's another thing.
No, that's facts. That's facts.
True.
But you need direction from the woman to know how to please a woman.
Absolutely. That's where it comes in. Like, you just had to say it how it is. A lot of women are like, oh yeah, I loved it, and you didn't. You're lying.
Yeah, right.
Know? Yeah.
So, but what if a woman is not directing her man of exactly how to please her and get her off? Then it's her fault.
Yes.
It's not the dude's fault.
No, because most men don't know. You know, like women and men are wired completely different. And that's when I really started to understand, because before, when I was younger, I was like, oh, well, yeah, like, what are you thinking about? They're thinking nothing, like, let's be honest. Nothing. And women, we're all deep. We're thinking about 20 times. My mind's racing.
We're thinking about one thing. We're thinking about one thing. How to get the nut. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but women, we're like, so like, oh my gosh, gotta do this, gotta do this. And we're thinking about 20 years later, or, later, future, the past, what we have to do right now. Like, it's crazy how a woman thinks. So women and men are wired completely different. But once you understand that, then it's easier to cope with either or, right? I don't know about men understanding women. I'm not sure if that.
You know what? I don't know either, because I don't have you know what? I'm in a relationship, and to this day, like, I've been with my girl, 10 years, and I don't have it down yet. I'm still trying to figure this girl out.
We're always changing.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah, we can't make up our minds.
Because in the beginning, I was
right?
just like, I was knocking the boots, and everything was gravy. But
and then it got real.
Yeah, then it got real. And
real life settles. You're like, okay, what the hell?
Yeah,
it's different.
And it's got me wearing leopard Speedos. Like, I'm trying to really step it up in certain departments that aren't really working.
I want to make sure that you're not wearing a leopard Speedo in the chair right here with 97% of men watching. Okay, now who's fighting? Yeah, for real? Yeah, no.
Do you have your man dance around in leopard Speedos? Be honest.
No.
Yeah, he's sitting right there.
I'm already really masculine as it is, in a respectful way, because I'm in charge of everything. So I'm running my company in Mexico. I'm running my company here. I've always been a leader like that anyway. Yeah. And I've always been very headstrong. So I just run shit because that's my job. So I make magic happen. So I'm like, I literally run my companies from my phone. So I'm micromanaging a lot. Well, I'm telling people who are supposed to be micromanaging my other people, right?
Yeah.
But I get a lot done, and then I'll be taking care of my son's stuff at the same time. And then I'm taking care of my parents live with me now too, because they're older. So I'm taking care of their stuff. And then I'm ordering groceries at the same time. And then I'm directing, that's just me. And I'm taking care. I'm raising my grandson too, so I have so much going on. But I can handle all of that. I can multitask like a motherfucker.
All the strong women in this world.
Yes, all strong women.
Women empowerment today, right here in the Hood Stocks. Don't play with it.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I applaud you, and I salute you, and I tip my hat off to you, even though I ain't got one on right now. But you are the epitome of what it is to be a strong woman, and to be resilient, right? Resiliency is crazy. And you've been resilient in your life, and you're sitting here across from me looking amazing. With all due respect, you're doing your thing. You're a CEO of your company. Who would have thought that making dancewear for kids would give you this life that you're living, right?
No, I would not have thought that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Never. So that's what I'm saying. So people are like, oh, I want to start. Well, what happens if you could be in the same position? Like, my life is completely different. Like, I've been like when I got out of prison, like $400 for a room rent was a lot for me. I couldn't afford it. I was struggling to pay that, managing a kitchen and working minimum wage. And I wasn't complaining, but it was what it was, right? And now it's crazy because I have so much more. I mean, people say that money doesn't make you happy. That's a lie. It's a lie.
It takes away a lot of stress.
Yeah.
And it fixes
But legal
problems.
money, though, because there's a difference. Because I feel like when I was doing dirty things, making dirty money, like, people just steal that shit from me. And, like, you know what I mean? How it's karma. It's karma. So, like, when you're really doing the right things in life, I feel like it definitely reflects back on you. It's a law of attraction, right?
Which is real.
Yeah, for sure.
So I want to say this real quick, and I want to give I've never done this before, but I want to give props to my mom's husband, because this time I got out, when he seen me going through things, he's a adding the other, blah, 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 like complaining, right? Because I got out 37 years old from the penitentiary, right? And but I'm grown, but I'm still just like I'm a kid still. I'm a boy in regards to like life standards, right?
Right.
You know, because I was running the streets for so long and doing my thing, whatever. But he was just like, "What's up with you?" You know what I mean? Just that, and I'd be complaining to him, and he'd be like, "Well," he goes, "Can money fix it?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, basically." And he's like, "All right, well, it ain't no thing then." He wouldn't say it necessarily like that, but he would say it basically like that, like, "Well, you're good then."
Right.
Because my sister had died from cancer, and money can't fix a disease.
Right.
You know? So if you have a problem that money can fix, then it's really not a fucking problem.
Right.
Right? Because you can work your way up, build up, and you can fix that with money. So money is a great thing to have.
Yes.
You can figure that shit out.
Yeah, like I sent that dude $25, bro, and I thought he was going to be upset that I didn't send him the whole thing.
And he was so happy.
Dude, I could read his text and it's like a fucking, you know what I mean? It's a text that I don't really want to read because it's
But
so
you know
long.
what? How amazing that he was grateful, because that's where I feel like change comes too. Like when you're grateful for the smaller things in life. You know, so like you said, when you got out of prison, you're complaining, right?
Yeah, I was complaining, dude, like a little bitch. Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Excuse my language also as well. But yeah, I was complaining like a little bitch, that this, that, and the other, because I'm a type of dude that wants things right now.
Yeah.
I want things right now. And so I figured that, hey, Lux, you're the type of dude that wants things right now. So who's going to give it to you right now? Who's going to give it to you right now? Not Canine, not Droops, not fucking Big Dog over here, not Nito, not Mondo. Who's going to give it to you right now? You're going to give it to yourself right now. So it's on you. And so that's when I took responsibility on my life, and I said, hey, this shit ain't on nobody else. Why am I complaining to my mom's husband? You know? Sound like a little, you know? And so I took matters in my own hand, and I just started working towards the person that I am now, which is not where I want to be at, but it's a lot. It's a fucking 100 miles from where I was at. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm choking. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. Is it me? Is it me?
No, it's not you.
Are you allergic to me?
No, you're good.
Okay. Are you allergic? That's
But
weird.
at least you know that, though. That's a good thing, because I think a lot of people, well, I know a lot of people, they don't even see that they want to be, they don't even there's no acknowledgement that they want to be different or change.
You gotta work, dude. You gotta
but
work.
it starts with self-reflection.
Yes.
So when you really start seeing hey, this is what I want. I might not be there. We're never going to be there. We're never there 100%. We're not going to be there until we're going to die. It's a constant work. We're constantly working on ourselves. And then once you work on that, you're going to find something else you want to work on. You know what I mean? So that's never think that you're that's a bad thing. That's the push to actually change.
Let's go.
Yeah?
The push.
It's actually the push, because if you weren't recognizing those things, you'd be like, okay, stagnant like everybody else. You know, and we can't be stagnant. So even though I feel like I definitely started late. I didn't have retirement saved, I didn't have all of these things. So that none of this shit was planned, but I'm still making it. Am I where I want to be? No, I'm not even close.
What kind of life are you living right now off of the company that you started in Mexico, and now you're in California? Obviously, you had told me that you 2023 million plus in revenue. I mean, how are you living life now? What are talk about the benefits of putting in the work and staying the course throughout the ups and downs and all that other stuff where people quit. You never quit because the dog is in you. You know what I mean? You a beast. You a wolf. You run with the big dogs. You ain't a little pup. You know what I mean? That's why you showed up with the big dog over there, triple OG and shit. You know what I mean? Because, hey, it is what it is, right? Good people know good people. But what I'm getting at, though, is how are you enjoying life now? What makes you happy? Can you go, do you go to McDonald's, or do you need to go to
Actually, I ate McDonald's last night. Don't judge me. Yeah, I you know what? I live to enjoy life. I'm not on any schedule. I like to work. I actually, my challenges with life is I want to do better. So it's not really even a numbers thing. I'm man, last year we hit 2.4 million. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
In revenue.
Yes.
How much overhead do you have on that? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh my gosh, I'd have to look at my profile. Think about it deeper, and like it's a larger picture than what we actually think.
Yeah.
And so that's a blessing. And I have people tell me that. So it's like they're like, oh my gosh, I have, you know, shout out to Jasmine. She runs my Instagram. So, but she's you know, she's an at-home mom, but she's able to work from home, and she's been able to evolve as a woman. I just love to help people, you know, and when they're down and out and they feel like they're, you know, we get lost as being mothers. We get lost in motherhood and raising kids and being at home and being wives, whatever. You get lost in that as a woman. And so it's really important for you to find your own independence, you know, outside of that. You know, so when women start companies, it's exciting to me because a lot of people are like at home miserable. They're like, they gain weight having kids, and like they just want to eat Oreos all day, right?
Hot Cheetos.
Yeah. I like hot Cheetos. But you know, like, so, but life is good. Like I can go do what I want, you know, and that's goals for me. You know, I don't have
what makes you happy?
What makes me happy? I love to work.
You know, besides work, what do you do?
I know, it's crazy.
On the off time?
I love spending time with my kids.
Okay.
So I spend a lot of time with my children. So I'm, my two younger daughters, they both work for me, but I spend a lot of time with them. I'm really close with them. And I spend, you know, like, my oldest daughter is in Washington State. So my other children.
What's that?
Hey, sorry about that. The chat saying that it's lagging real bad. I have it in my
Okay.
I'm watching it live.
Okay. Well, let's do it like this. Let's wrap this right here. This has been a good interview right here, and I appreciate you coming through. How can people support you?
People can support me by reaching out to me if you're like in a like I love to help people.